Wake up, gamers, because you're listening to the Big Think Dimension with Maverick Dan and Robert Master.
I think the new names are good.
You're wrong.
Chris Wolfhard.
I'm buying aviators.
And Dr. Aggro.
Wait, can I be Maverick then?
Here on GigaBoots.
Bark, bark.
No, you're Iceman.
I don't know if the mic picked that up.
No, it did not pick up you biting.
I don't know. I think we all just rebrand now. And it's somebody years from now will be like, it was pretty fucked up when some conglomerate just fired everyone on the network.
I mean, if we're straight up pulling from Top Gun, I demand to be Merlin.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what does it for you.
Mm-hmm.
If you say so, I guess. You know, whatever, man. Only if you crash and burn.
Wow. Thanks for your support here on my first episode of the Big Think Dimension.
You know, our listeners may not appreciate this, but I don't even know who the fuck you are. There's nothing going on over here. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you don't actually have an identity until something's under you.
I have no name.
It's like one of those fucked up fantasy cultures where somebody doesn't get a name until they're like 16. We're supposed to entertain the idea that that's functional at all.
I just need like a 7-year-old girl to be like standing right here to constantly go, he doesn't have a name. That's so death can't find him.
You know, I think Big Think Dimension is the best game coverage channel out there. They have a deep lore. You have to read the wiki. Until the age 16, you don't have a name, and death is always seeking Dr. Aggro.
Hey, don't say his name. What are you doing?
Son of a bitch.
I'm sorry. What did you want again? Merlin? Okay, I can do that. One moment.
I don't even remember which one was Merlin.
Honestly, neither do I.
Oh no!
He might have been one of the instructors.
To be honest, I was just hoping that there was no Merlin in time.
I think we need to put Avatar under aggro like wizards.
Now, is this like wife parentheses dead or Merlin parentheses Avatar? Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and preempt the next mailbag question. Hey, Dr. Aggro, when are you gonna play Ultima?
I sometimes ask myself that question, you know?
We need the weekly Ultima check-in with Dr. Aggro.
Oh God!
It's just me chained at the bottom of a 17th century well with a laptop.
Come on, aggro! You're having a lot of trouble with this archaic 40-year-old game. You need to become a space ace, aggro. The princess won't talk to you until you're a space ace.
Oh no!
Okay, so complete twist this week. I set up everyone this whole week to be like, Coke. The Coke drink. That's what you tune in for. That's the important thing. And I set up my co-host the same way. I've eaten countless things this week that were new that I was supposed to inform you people about, and one of them went to the top immediately. And it did this 10 hours ago. This is a PSA. We're elevating the importance of this part of the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, do not get the French toast sticks at the Wendy's.
Wait, they do that?
They just started. Wait, it is
Okay.
bad.
Is this like day one?
No, it's like they've had the sign for weeks.
Oh, okay.
And I finally found the time to go and try it. Okay, let me explain. You know, when you go to Burger King, they have theirs. And obviously, they fry them on the spot when you order them. But they're pre-made to some extent. You can tell they're doing some level of heating it properly on the spot.
Uh-huh.
These literally taste like someone took the plainest bread they could, didn't like put batter on it properly, grilled it weeks ago, froze it, and they microwaved it at the store. These are the saddest French toasts I've ever had. You literally cannot do worse than these.
That seems insane. I honestly want to try it to see how bad it is.
I don't know. Like French toast is one of those things. When you fuck it up, it's just so sad.
It was so sad. It was so depressing. It literally had like there's a certain texture expectation I have for French toast where it's like, okay, the outside of it is going to be a little fluffy almost, so it can absorb the syrup and like be really great going down. So for me building up the sentence like this, you should assume no, it was like you took a piece of bread and stuck it in a George Foreman grill. So it's just completely
What
flat.
kind of a psycho would do that?
Wendy's? Yeah, it was dire. It was truly, truly dire. I did not expect. I don't. Wendy's breakfast is actually pretty good in my experience.
Mm-hmm.
Admittedly, I'm a big fan of all fast food breakfasts that I've tried. I like McDonald's. I like Taco Bell, Burger King. I think going to Burger King for breakfast is more valid than going any other time of the day.
Oh yeah, those French toast sticks there are something special.
Yeah.
I only go to Burger King for the enormous burrito.
No, that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten that on occasion too. And then you can get the value buy that's like 2 sandwiches for $4. And I'm like, yeah, sure. I think this is a balanced meal, actually. Yes, I eat both sandwiches.
Perfectly balanced.
Am I holding the sandwich on my finger?
You just gotta kind of like pinched in between.
If everything is carbohydrates, you could say it's balanced.
Yes! What was he cooking? And then it's just the people at Wendy's making these terrible French toast sticks. They've got the George Foreman grill. It's so depressing. The adjectives that should not be associated with French toast topping the list hard.
Oh God!
Second place flat. I don't know.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
Cinnamon Toast Crunch is fine. The cereal?
It's kind of hard and flat.
I mean, if you don't put it in... Well, actually, no. It's not flat at all. Those things are all curled. They're like, eh.
Well, they're curled, but they're like flat and curled.
French Toast Crunch is a different cereal from Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Oh, yeah, it is.
That's true. Yeah, the French Toast Crunch actually is both hard and flat until you add milk, and then it's not really hard. That cereal used to be really good, I swear to God, just like every other cereal. It just got way worse. Because I've kept a pretty good check of my bias against cereal as I've gotten older.
I think that may be just one of those things that, yeah, as you get older, like, oh, the chemical we put in this used to be complex and interesting, and now it just tastes like dry maple syrup.
I really appreciated this mix of plastic and bleach when I was growing up.
See, there's that angle, or it could just be in 2003, the government approved the use of some horrible sugar substitute made of corn husks that made everything taste bad.
I know there was a distinct point, even in my childhood, where Cookie Crisp became entirely different. Like the flavor changed completely.
Yes,
I was like,
that happened.
15 or less.
That was
and
real.
And I knew that, I don't like the cereal anymore.
I
And
mean,
it's made that way since.
And that's what happened with Oreo O's for me. Where I thought when they first came out, they were great.
Mm-hmm.
And then even just a year later, something happened. I don't even know if we were yet at the point where they're like, the marshmallow part's separate. And I'm like, I don't want a cereal with marshmallows. If I wanted that, I would have Lucky Charms.
They did that? That's hilarious.
Yeah, they did do that at one point. I think they rolled it back. I'm not entirely sure.
Lucky Charms,
Yeah.
that's a basic move.
Yeah.
You got to go to the bag section. You got to get that shit that's crunch berries with marshmallows.
Are you?
That's the real play.
Are you repping Malto Meal right now? Is
Hell
that?
yes. I was a bag boy growing up.
We gave this guy a fucking platform, and within 10 minutes,
Ditch the box, bitch.
I mean, I'm also a bag boy. Like, what am I supposed to do? Pay $6 for the 10-ounce box of frosted mini wheats, or pay $4 for the 18 pounds of frosted mini spooners?
yes, that name has always been really good.
Is it actually called that?
Yes,
Yes, it is.
That's hilarious. Okay.
I'm like, this bowl of cereal makes me feel warm, like I'm being spooned right now. Thank you, Malto Meal. Oh man, but yeah, okay. Blueberry muffin top cereal. There's no comparison. No one else has that. So multi-meals always had that competitive advantage, even outside of the value market. See, they're a lot like AMD, right? Where AMD has to compete on value, multi-meal has to compete on value. I'm trying to say, multi-meal's the AMD of cereal. When is Sony going to start including a bag of Muffin Top cereal with the now expensive PS5? That would make it go down smoother. It's like, it's $50 more, but...
I don't want to see the tweet that's like, please stop putting your Dino Pebbles into the PS5. This was not meant to be a physical component.
Xbox gamers, just like with the SSD, and going, oh, it's so complicated. They're just like, how were they supposed to know? If the cereal came with my Xbox, I too would pour it in the hole.
Well, there's all those holes in the top of the Series X. What are those meant for other than Fruity Pebbles?
Exactly.
So you gotta block him up.
I'm kind of regretting we didn't fill the one we destroyed with Fruity Pebbles.
You've got to unscrew the foot on that thing, and that you'll find the milk hole. And then you pour the cereal into the indention on top, and then the milk comes up through those square holes, finally settling the which comes first argument.
Please, Aggro, tell me more about the milk hole.
So is there like a siphon that draws it up towards the cereal?
It's completely pneumatic.
Oh, okay. Okay, I thought my next guess was it was like a thermometer and you put your hand around the bulb, right? And then it would just,
That's not how milk works.
This milk is just the right temperature and viscosity. Where
What did you put in your cereal as a kid? Could you see your face in it? Did iron float in it?
Well, I mean, my breakfast cereal, I would look down at it and I see half a reflection of my face like a mirror, and then it kind of looks like, well, you know when oil spills in a driveway and it's rainbow-like and it's iridescence? My cereal kind of looked like that. What did yours look like?
So the thing that's weirding me out is not that Dan clearly died in childhood, it's that we can still hear him. This is, I believe, our current pressing concern.
Yeah, that's the real problem right now.
Gonna make a correction over here. That was easy. It was like shake and bake.
Which was like a bag of breadcrumbs that you would put on chicken, right?
No.
God damn it.
It's like tiny bits of foil that you shove into the... Is that not...
Wait, I think I've discovered something. Were you born a human child? or were you some kind of an industrial vacuum?
I've been reincarnated into an influencer help. I miss being an industrial vacuum. Please put me back. Anyway, we tried the new Coke flavor.
Yeah, we sure got fucking lost in the weeds on that one.
Yeah, seriously.
I don't know what you're talking about. I just changed my title on stream to say Dead Video Games and his to say Merlin. This Coke.
I have some right here too.
When you do broad strokes, this is a tropical Coke. I don't know if it's mango. I don't think it's pineapple. I like pineapple more than I like this. What are your thoughts?
It's purple snow cone. It is purple snow cone syrup cut with regular Coke.
This is fucked up. Every time he does this, this motherfucker, he tried normal ass Monster, the green soda Monster, for the first time ever. And within seconds, he's just like, it tastes like orange soda and Spree. And I'm like, how did you fucking nail that? What the fuck?
I think seconds later, I had altered that description to sweet tarts and ass.
So it tastes like Coke, but you added in something that tastes like you described the concept of a fruit flavor to an alien.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's one of those things that it doesn't taste like, oh, this is strawberry flavored. No, this is strawberry candy flavored.
Yeah, the way I described it, especially, it's especially apparent when you drink the diet one. It tastes like Coke mixed with a fruit gum. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
gum. This is some fruit stripe shit.
It's mildly less. Yes, it is fruit stripe soda. It is mildly less apparent when you drink the normal one as opposed to the diet. I think the diet just instantly tasted like that.
What's weird to it for me is I I drink it. It hits me with that flavor you guys are talking about first. Then that disappears and becomes just like nothingness. It's like my tongue just feels dirty.
Yeah, it's weirdly, it just vanishes.
Yeah, it's so strange.
Do you like tropical drinks and feeling filthy?
This still sounds better than the Starlight, which was like, I had this in the freezer and it still tastes warm.
Right? Like, I feel like I should be able to pour this into a cotton candy machine.
Yeah.
And just run it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. Of the three, Starlight, this, and Marshmallow, I think I like Marshmallow the most. It actually tasted a little bit more fruity and a little bit less Coke-like and way less gum-like.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like these fruity ones at all. I'll take the Starlight over them, even though that's like
a cinnamon raspberry
or something. It also seems like there's vanilla in there.
Vanilla raspberry is what I got.
Yeah.
They need to stop fucking around. Make Coke with more obvious lemon flavor.
I mean, yes, lemon is like the best thing you can add to a soda, basically. I mean, especially cheer wine.
I'm in line with that internet post you'll see in various forms. Stop fucking with Coke. Either put the cocaine back in or leave it alone.
They could just put in real cane sugar again.
But see, they won't put cocaine back in Coke because that would compete with Monster, and they own Monster now, so they don't want to do that.
So, do they still have the Pepsi throwback in Niceville? Because I feel like that was around for a couple of years and then disappeared.
Yeah, I think it's gone. I don't think I've seen it in a long time.
I feel
oh
weird.
No, we make 10 cents less a case when we use real ingredients in our slop. We have to go back to the desiccated corn husks.
Yes.
I mean, we still get Mexican Coke, which is still good, but it's just that's expensive.
we have that too, but they did the real sugar Pepsi for a while, and it's like and that's hard. We don't like to try.
It's okay. You can just send something more on our side. We'll pay it. No.
Do you guys remember how when the Mexican Cokes first started getting popular in like stores, there was a bunch of articles basically boiling down to you can't actually taste the difference, you just think you can.
Yes.
It was just like the 60 frame per second things. Yeah, God, 7th gen sucked. And that was the same thing. I think that was even the same time.
Yeah, no, that's
it was around the same time. Things. Yeah.
God, why is all journalism like this?
Did you know you can't observe reality?
Well, you see, Bob, it's called manufacturing consent. It's when the media lies directly to your face.
Ooh.
I hate that you're right.
But yeah, aside from that, did like let me explain. I'm not going to talk about this, but I did eat.
Stop eating things.
I did eat bacon jerky. This is awful.
Is this 2008?
It kind of felt like it. I mean,
next Dan is going to review the fucking caffeinated bacon soap he saw a post for on Reddit.
No.
God, I also tried that bacon stuff. It's awful.
They were talking about it on r/epic.
No! How did he know? That's one of the only 3 Reddits I'm subscribed to. But yeah, this bacon jerky is terrible. I literally saw it in the gas station. I remember when I ate that because I ate every last thing in the CVS I worked at, working overnight, 10-hour shifts. Because if you work there enough years, of course you've eaten everything in the store. They're not that big.
Mm-hmm.
Also, even though it's illegal, they're like, it's your lunch break. You can't leave. And I'm like, that's not how that works.
Yeah, it's a surprisingly common thing.
Yep.
It's real terrible.
Yeah,
I know GameStop did that all the time too.
They didn't forbid me from leaving when I worked at Target during lunch, but it was like, they only give me 30 minutes. Am I going to leave? It's like, no. So I guess I'll eat every single thing in this Target. That's when I learned what every single flavor of Pepperidge Farm cookie was like.
All at once.
The stack.
Just 8 bags open in front of Chris.
I think every single one in every single type in my top 3 they quit making.
Oh. That sucks.
Like, where the fuck are the chocolate chessmen, asshole?
Dead in the earth. Speaking of dead in the earth, we played Gears.
I also played Gears.
Let me tell you about a very overarching theme of Gears. Woman.
Woman.
Oh,
Okay,
man.
so at a certain point in Gears, I take it there is no woman. But at that point, is there also no cry? Oh.
Well, so here's the thing, okay? Gears Judgment is the first Gears we played last Friday. I say first Gears because we decided wouldn't it be funny if we did 20 and a half hour stream. Which actually, I felt better through Gears 4 as I do at the beginning. I'm genuinely serious when I say I hit a strive 6 hours into every stream. Which is why it's so hard to quit past that point. Anyways, Gears Judgment is a game made by People Can Fly. It is right after Gears 3. For people who don't know, it's the filler game. They needed an extra Gears for the 360. And this game is, in so many ways, about how it controls what the core ideas are. A Gears game, but all of the content is structured radically different. The control scheme was actually modernized, so it feels way better. And it's bizarrely the least... Like, it's the same problem God of War Ascension has, where you have to have the story that is meaningless.
Yeah, you can't have anything accomplished because the prequel.
Right. It's a prequel story. They needed to just fill things out. But it commits the worst crime possibly in the Gears series.
It's unbelievably funny because there's all this unknown stuff about the immediate backstory of Gears, even starting in the first one.
Yes.
And it's like, are you going to confront any of that? No, they said they didn't say we. They said we weren't allowed. Nothing could matter.
And they write this game in a way where it's like Coltrane does not act like Coltrane 95% of the time. The closest he gets is some narration stuff during his recollection of the events of the game. See, the structure for the story here, Merlin, is that they are recounting an event that occurred where they took government weaponry to fight an enemy threat in a trial they're having in the middle of a war zone. Okay. So it's constantly flashing back.
Right.
4 different members remembering, and then the first member remembers again.
All right.
So timeline-wise, the game actually moves very little. Baird, thank God, doesn't act like he did in 3, where they decided he should just be insufferable. They were like, Baird's the funny one, right? And literally everyone's like, no, he's not that funny. He's kind of sarcastic and then just does his job. He's like that coworker you have who's not a bad worker, but he cracks a joke about how everything sucks while he does it, right?
Baird is like, he's the guy that you met in high school, and he's never done anything to get kicked off the team, but sometimes he gets to the line.
And then in Gears 3, he's like, I'm going to quip as we're both about to die. This is my thing now. And I'm like, that's really not your thing. Okay. So thank God in Judgment he doesn't act like that, but Coltrane doesn't act a single fucking thing like himself for 95% of that game, if not more.
Yeah, he hardly talks. Like at all. It's weird.
It is weird. It was to the point where we were like, is this Coltrane?
Yeah,
He acts nothing like himself. He's barely talking. We had to look it up. We were like, okay, chat. I'll trust you now. I looked it up. They say that's him.
It's at 15 years of the past, so everyone's pretty redesigned.
Yeah. Yeah, especially Coltrane.
Yeah.
I feel like
he doesn't look like his statue of himself at that age.
Right.
He
Because
looks
they have
different from
statues
that.
of him from when he was an athlete. So weird. It is bizarre. But, you know, the structure itself is pretty interesting because unlike the other Gears games where it's just play through the story, this one is a hyper linear. Well, I wouldn't say linear because it cuts to the future to then cut back, but there's no gameplay up there until you follow the events all the way back. Anyways, it cuts these segments into small, judgeable, rankable, scoreable things where it's just like, you got this many stars. Good job. Get enough stars to get the important campaign. And we're like, oh, is that going to be a problem? And then we play it and it's like, no, it's not going to be a problem. Like, then why did you do it?
Don't you feel accomplished?
No. You know how many times we got 1 star? And we still got that shit easily?
Yeah, I think that if we got 1 star in every mission, we would have gotten that. I think it's that level.
I feel like maybe we had to get 2 stars twice. It was that
It's
close.
it's insane that they try to make the challenges to get more stars diegetic.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, so which leads to them introducing insane lore like they tell us not to use locust weapons, and I'm like, 1, why? 2, every other game has pretty strongly implied that they're just human guns they stole. Like there's no locust like aesthetic weapons, they're just fucking like assault rifles.
Right.
Huh.
Yeah, it's not like Halo, where Covenant weapons are clearly different.
Right.
It's weird because there are some that only they have, like the hammer burst, the rocket launcher, and the machine gun pistol. Like those are only theirs.
The only one that I would say feels like this is a locust weapon they came up with is like the boom shot, because it's enormous,
Yes.
and the torque bow.
Yeah.
Everything else, like the hammer burst, just feels like that universe's version of the AK-47.
It does.
So we have this weird structure where, generally Gears will be like, play through this level, it's like 40 minutes, maybe an hour, and it just keeps going. But in Judgment, it's literally like 10 minutes at a time, 8 minutes at a time. It's like, congratulations, you did this.
Yeah, every encounter ends with a score screen, and then you move to another stage.
And some of them are really unremarkable. It's like, oh, you went through, I don't know, not even a quarter of a mile of sewer and fought 5 dudes. Here's your points. And I'm like, what?
I hope you killed all 5.
It's like, oh shit, I didn't chainsaw enough of them to get the really good points. Yeah.
The scoring system doesn't make any sense for this game.
Yeah.
It's just like it encourages you to play in ways that don't make sense tactically. Like you said,
Yeah.
you get extra points for doing chainsaw kills
Yeah.
and all these other things. It's like, but it makes sense in this horde mode segment to stay back and not go out and after people because you die really easily in these games.
Yeah. For the parts that aren't really, really short, they also just have horde mode things where it's just, we set up an open area, you will defend it for this many waves. And they roll that out a few too many times.
Yes.
But overall, I'm actually kind of positive on this game because even though it has... okay. It has a more modernized control scheme that I appreciate. Now I'm going to talk about the writing thing I like, because every Gears has to have this, I guess.
Yes.
I have to talk about the writing thing I absolutely hate. So, Gears is a pretty wifant franchise, post 2.
Yes.
You get to Judgment, the flashback game, and you have your team of 4. You got Baird, White Guy Sid, like Final Fantasy VII Sid, sort of look to him, like Sid crossed with a member of NSYNC
With a fridge.
Yes. You got Coltrane, literally based on Bettis, I think people were saying. I was like, cool. Pittsburgh Steelers. Anyway, and then you have Russian guy with scars, or clearly
Paruk, I think is his name.
Paduk.
Paduk.
Yeah, he's Russian coded, but they don't.
He's of the other enemy faction.
They're
East of
so
the Elbe.
unbelievable. It's so fucking lame for them to try to explain the fucking backstory of this planet and be like, they also had America and the Soviet Union. I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah.
What is this? The original Star Trek?
Look, America and the Soviet Union are endemic parts of intelligent life. Any deterministic view of evolution means that a hominidistic society will always develop a capitalist United States and an authoritarian communist Soviet Union. That's
you're
part of how it goes. It's in our DNA. I played Metal Gear.
You're such a smart science fiction writer.
So then we build this giant wall all the way around the planet.
Wow.
Oh god, that's Killzone 2 also. God damn it.
No, that was Shadowfall.
That was Shadowfall. Oh, man.
But Resistance is the one that's the rival of Gears, right? That's how it worked out.
Yes, timing wise, unfortunately, it released in the same schedule, same time frame every time, unfortunately. Yeah. So in this, the fourth member, who I haven't gotten to yet, is a lady. And when they go to write her...
Was this the one where they like have the girl now? Is that... My Gears history is fuzzy.
Okay, so in Gears 3, you can play as Anya, who's been a character the whole time, but wasn't like a mercenary. She wasn't a fighter. She seemed to be, intel. She seemed to be that sort of thing. And in Gears 3, she's now just one of the Gears, and she can be frontline person, when you do 4-player. Judgment introduces Sophia. Sophia is a female character, and it's like, okay, that's cool. What are we going to write for her? So she's an academic. That's fine. And she knows of this professor who might have a thing to help. Okay. And she clearly fucked this professor. Okay, that's... You had to write a woman, and the first thing you thought of was, what if she's into older men with power? Getting some Lost in Translation vibes here. This is fine. I'm coping. We'll get past this. Then the game ends. Me and Bob, we unlock the cool extra campaign that takes place during Gears 3, where you play as Coltrane and Baird, confirming exactly what I said during Gears 3 of, that is clearly a part of this game that was supposed to happen more. Because they do it once in the opening, and then never again. Me and Bob the whole time are just like, why aren't we playing as Coltrane? And I'm like, they clearly wanted to do that and just cut that shit. So, here in Judgment, you unlock the campaign to do that. You meet up with the Russian guy as Baird and Coltrane. And Baird's like, how's Sophia doing? And he's like, I'll tell you at the end of the DLC campaign. and then it ends with, Locust Raiders got her.
No, it was COG Raiders.
Was it COG Raiders?
Yeah, because they had these tags, and they were COG tags.
Oh, I thought it was that was her tags or something. Okay.
Yeah.
So it was COGs and not Locust?
So she was taken up by some COG rapists, I guess. I don't know.
And then the conversation immediately just goes, never talk to me again.
Yeah.
So that way Russian guy could get written out.
Yeah, and I guess they never go back to it. and then they walk away, and I'm just pissed because I'm like, Sophia was actually kind of neat, aside from the only thing they thought to write for her backstory was into older men with power. Yeah.
What a terrible franchise in terms of character writing.
I know.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Honestly, it would be way better if they were just like, no, I'm sorry. Gears of War is a dude bro franchise. We don't have any female characters.
Yeah, that might have worked out better, honestly. So I'm pretty upset about this turn of events. I'm like, this sucks. And the chat goes, by the way, Sophia never comes up again. And I'm like, this really sucks. I didn't need you to tell me that. I was holding on hope that maybe 4 or 5 would bring her back, and no.
There's
anyway.
Always 6, which may or may not exist.
Is that one of the Funko ones, or I'm having trouble keeping track of which is the main Gears line these days.
Funko already came out and bombed and got shut down. And Tactics is another prequel.
It's like the Ender timeline and the Bean timeline, okay? So we have Gears 5, but notice it's not Gears of War 5. So next year, expect Gears of War 5.
Yes.
God, that's so stupid.
I hate that that's
it's so
plausible.
It's so stupid they did that. Where it's like, we just made it Gears 5 because we have that disease that Silicon Valley companies have, where if we don't change things every 6 months, our customers will lose interest.
Gears 5 followed by 2 Gears, 2 Warriors.
Yes. We will not be playing Gears Tactics during this month because that game is huge, and we can't tack it onto a Gears 5 stream because Gears 5 is huge, allegedly.
Yeah, it's not giant.
Oh, it was not, Chris?
No, it took me maybe 9 hours.
Oh,
okay. Maybe we'll get really bored. You'll just have to find out tomorrow when we stream.
Yeah,
like you people told you it was as long as God of War 2018. Like, that ain't fucking in the same universe as that.
Yeah, that sounds about right. How long to beat's a little weird. They're like, you're gonna wrench all of the content out of the open world, right? And I'm like,
I did that.
what do you mean you did that in 9? Okay.
All right.
We played Kill Switch. Do you know about Kill Switch, Dr. Merlin?
Only in that it is a PS2 game. Which means it predates the metalcore joke I want to make about it.
Yeah, it did it first. So kill dot switch. Because there is a dot. It's represented by a blue halo on the box art.
Don't forget the take cover, take aim, take over. It's important.
Yeah.
It's part of the title.
It is part of the title, kind of.
It's not a bad role to have on a cover, no.
No, and they say it in the first 5 minutes. So that's
a character
really,
or
yeah.
Someone just shouts, take cover, take aim, take over.
Yeah, because they explained the cover shooter mechanics to you, because this is the progenitor of the entire genre. This is the first one.
Nice.
Aggro. This shit is literally Gears 1. 0. This is Gears 0. The fucked up thing is they actually have like lead gameplay designer. Like the director of the gameplay design on Kill Switch went over and made Gears. So then I go, what did Cliffy B do? Because it is...
Killed women.
Oh no!
Yeah, it really does feel like he did nothing. He brought the horrible aesthetic in writing.
Yeah, he brought some huge guy to design huge dudes. Because that's the thing, the character designer's some really, really insanely buff dude.
Yes.
For Gears, so he didn't do that.
He brought the chainsaw gun, maybe?
He probably brought the Lancer as a concept.
Mm-hmm.
Probably. We don't know that.
We don't.
That could have been the lead gameplay designer being like, I wish Melee was better in my game.
Look, I don't want to sound cynical.
Okay.
Or overly political. But I don't know Clifford Blazinski personally. I'm not terribly familiar with his work professionally, but there is a chance, based on the time frame, that maybe he was just some frat bro that got a job and then did nothing for years, showed up to conferences and cashed the fucking check.
Well, as soon as he left Epic, he immediately ran into the wall like 4 times in a row, and then did a thread of his game ideas that never got made, and they were all the worst thing you had ever heard of. One of them was like, you're a guy going down the river in an inner tube and things attack you. I'm like, that exists, Cliffy B, and also was bad.
I've seen that episode of Kids Next Door. It was great.
Based on the very same greatness. Yeah, it is interesting when you think about Peter Molyneux and Cliffy B and how they kind of fill the same slot, but Cliffy B's just louder. And people gave him more rope.
I'd be more apt to assume that Cliffy B's just an idiot.
Yeah, like Cliffy B didn't make wild promises like Molyneux dude. Like that was Molyneux's thing of he's always got 100 different ideas and promises he'll make about a game.
But they fit the same role in the industry of guy who's clearly the visionary that created franchise such as.
Mm-hmm.
Because at Bullfrog, you know, a lot of new and fresh minds came into Bullfrog and made their iconic games like Theme Park, Theme Hospital, Syndicate. Populous is the only brainchild of Molyneux, as far as I know, at Bullfrog. And then he starts Lionhead, which gets Black and White. And then Fable is also someone else's brainchild that he just subsumes their studio.
Okay, I need to know. I need to know who came up with the name in Fable, Jack of Blades. Because if Molyneux came up with that name, everything's forgiven because that's a cool name.
That's fair. Clearly, I need to watch more Peter Molyneux documentaries until he comments on this.
That's psychologically healthy.
But yeah, it's Gears has been an interesting month. It is telling that after we finished our Gears Judgment and Gears 4 stream, I immediately tweeted, "You all fucking lied to me. You told me this shit was better than Uncharted. It is not in the same ballpark."
Yeah,
I genuinely trusted them.
I didn't. If you had told me that, I would have been like, based on how much people stopped talking about Gears after 2, I would know that isn't the case. Because people still, like, Gears was still, like, poked its head up above, like, the ocean of background radiation. You know, because, like, you look across the gaming landscape and one person can only see so much, but you see, like, things emerge. And nobody like, I've hardly ever see people talk about Gears outside the context of 2.
Yeah, nowadays that's definitely the case. I felt like when Gears 3 came out, Gears fans were still very excited.
Gears back then, like at the time, Gears 3 was real big because it was coming off of Gears 2.
Yeah, it still had momentum as a franchise.
Right.
And you get that big, you can release a couple of bad games.
As I love to point out, Devil May Cry 2 sold more than Devil May Cry 3 because Devil May Cry 2 was coming off Devil May Cry 1 and Devil May Cry 3 was coming off Devil May Cry 2.
Right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting thing about Kill Switch. Time to kill is super short.
Incredibly short.
Completely unlike Gears in that way.
So we're talking if your reticle's on them and you're shooting, they're dead within maybe a second and a half.
Yeah, it honestly made me feel like, oh man, I wish they did another franchise like this where we could have a cover shooter where people just die instead of everyone being a living tank.
You know, it's really impressive that, like, because they got the lead gameplay designer from Kill Switch, which was only possible because Namco looked at that game, which critically did insanely well for 6th gen, and said, yeah, the studio isn't performing well enough, we're shutting it down. So that's the only reason they were able to get him, as far as I can understand it. Chris Isaki. The Gears people don't have to credit Kill Switch. They have the Kill Switch guy. They don't have to be like, that was our inspiration. Uncharted, they're just like, yeah, that's our inspiration. That game was awesome.
It's so weird to see, like, a game as influential on 7th gen as Resident Evil 4 was.
Right.
And just nobody's heard of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the weird thing is going back to it, especially on the Xbox, where it runs way better, because it was also on Xbox Original. I played that in between Friday stream and now. That game's really playable and really enjoyable even now. It's kind of surprising. The worst part of that game, 100%, is the plot is the most low-budget executed thing ever. You can literally describe every cutscene in the game as possibly 2 total cutscenes, pre-rendered videos, re-edited by some guy in a video editor, cutting it off with digital static at different points. Oh, we lost the connection. And then the gameplay realization of the plot is,
hey, we're announcing what you're doing this mission. You need to go do it, Bishop. And he's like, okay.
How did you get here? Who doesn't matter. Don't worry about it.
Because in this game, he can hijack other people's bodies with his neural link mind powers.
Nice.
And now I have to describe the weirdest thing about our playthrough that is so bad it makes me want to do another playthrough of this on a stream.
You found out why it was called Third Birthday?
No.
Oh.
The game has plot points where it makes sure you are aware. Your main character is suffering from neural link connections. It keeps disconnecting. He's having problems controlling the body. And we had this problem in this game where we would get shot and our character would just lock up. Like, we would just get shot and they wouldn't move, and then we would get shot to death and we would die.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the world kept moving around us.
Everything else in the game's moving. We're just perfectly locked into place. A grenade goes off. We get shot. Something like that. And at random, that would happen. So we beat 98% of this game with this nightmare setup of, at random, we could just be doing a dodge roll and a grenade goes off anywhere near us and we freeze perfectly in midair and get shot to death. And we find out it is a glitch with the vibration functionality on the controller we're playing with. I have never seen anything like this in a video game in my life.
What?
Yeah, right? So if I throw the grenade, it would try to rumble the controller and we would freeze. If I get shot with one bullet at random, it would freeze us in midair and we would die. We dug our way out of prison with half of a wooden spoon.
That is so fucking weird.
And we still managed to have a pretty great time. That speaks so much about the quality of this game. That despite the worst glitch I've ever dealt with,
I feel like someday you have to go through the Xbox version on stream as like justice. It's like, here's the game not fucking up.
Yeah. I played through half of that game off content on Xbox, and yeah, it's really good. Super enjoyable. It is funny, it tries to be more like a Metal Gear tone-wise in a certain way when it comes to levels you're playing through and other stuff. But then halfway through, it's like, oh no, memory archives, blah, blah, blah. You're now in ancient ruins. And I'm like, oh, Uncharted.
You're now in ancient ruins. So
you're now in.
I heard you're now an ancient ruin.
You're now.
How does it feel, Bishop, to be the ancient Incan city of
Jesus? Man, must suck now that you're a temple. Yes. What did you expect? No to be the answer,
right? It's like, this is very bizarre. I don't know how to deal with this.
We hijacked his neural link and made him possess a temple. He's a smart home.
How do you feel, Bishop? I'm an enormous brown sandstone structure. I feel like people are playing around with Quake in me right now.
But yeah, Kill Switch is really good. The music goes hard occasionally. It's very funny in that way. It has some of the funniest lines. It has Adam Baldwin as what was his name? Archer?
I think so.
Archer was the bad guy. And he goes, "The game ends now."
And then the game crashes.
Well, that was the level we were trying really hard to beat despite the glitch.
Yes, that was
So
like
we
the
had
final
to hear
stage.
we had to hear that like 20 fucking times. It was really beautiful. Yeah, no, that game was really good. And it's dirt cheap, so frankly, it's one of those things where as of this recording, I could be like, yeah, maybe check it out.
Right?
It does work like everything on Xbox does, playing off of a hard drive. That is true. I should, I assumed it was implicit because it was considered a part of our Gears month and it is made by a Gears person, but I should explicitly state, it too features wifant.
Oh.
It's way funnier though.
Oh, it's great! It's amazing. You get the whole dude holding his wife in his hands turned upward towards the heaven as she lies dead in it, and he goes, "Ah!" as the camera's directly above him, zooming out, and I'm like, good. If Gears did this, it would have been fucking great because it's funny as hell.
Right?
Instead, no, it was super. Yes, our actual theme this month, wifing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it for that. Gears 4. Let's get through it.
Yeah.
Gears 4 is a Gears game.
Gears 4 is like if aliens were told to make Gears 2 again, but include the cast of The Big Bang Theory.
There you go. We talked about Gears 4.
It is
Good. I'm glad we didn't have to dig into that any deeper.
This is finally the straw that breaks my fucking back on the generic guy, like snarky girl with a highlight, scared black comedy nerd.
Mm-hmm.
That triumvirate needs to be put down as a literary concept.
It was really good because Gears 4 is a perfect mix. And it's so transparent of we're trying to do important writing. These are serious character things.
What the Gears 4? There's nothing there.
And then the other half is quips. And it looks like those jars of pre-mixed peanut butter and jelly. You can just see it from the outside, the lines. The discrete separation inside the jar. And you're just like... It's
very strange for them to even continue this franchise when they entirely changed the aesthetic of the entire series.
Yes.
It's like technology doesn't look the same.
No. And
architecture isn't the same.
I feel like
like they just like the planet doesn't look the same.
No, it literally looks closer to Halo at this point than it looks, especially Halo 4, than it looks like Gears.
Yeah, no, like we were saying while playing, is like it didn't seem like the planet could have come back to this.
No,
like,
and on top of that, you have things like Jacinto's the last human city.
Yeah,
and now it's like these cities manufacture themselves, and I'm like,
yeah, because they have a replicators from Star Trek. It's like, what is this?
That really sounds like they got a new writer and he's like, no.
Well, it's a whole new studio. It's the second Microsoft makes a studio to make the franchise, and there's a lot of other weird similarities to 343 Halo.
Yeah, let me explain to Agra real quick. This is how beautiful the parallels are. 343 is named after 343 Guilty Spark from Halo. Coalition is the studio they renamed to Coalition and then make Gears games because COG stands for Coalition of Gears. It's really
Coalition of Governments.
Governments. Yes. The fucking parallels of just now just redesign the entire aesthetic and make a new game.
You spend the first hour plus fighting robots.
Yeah, robots that look weirdly cartoony.
And it's weird because we talk, Bob brings up while we're fighting them, they do. It's not as fun as the Locusts. They don't bleed. They don't have a cool explosion thing. They don't. And then there's a cutscene where they bleed, and I'm like, what? Excuse me, because when he was fighting these robots isn't as rewarding as it doesn't feel as good as killing a locust. I was sitting there, I was like, yeah, they're robots. They could have the white android blood.
Yeah, no,
I'm just thinking about fucking Alien. And then they show a cutscene way later where they do have the white android blood, and I'm like, what?
It just seems weird. It's I get that you need to do something new, but you also need to know that you're Gears of War and people play you because you play as gigantic beefy dudes who rip things apart that are good, fleshy.
So yeah, it's very weird to again, Gears of War is a meathead dude bro franchise. You can't pull the zoomer brush over it and try to make it into a CW show.
Yeah, Gears
it feels so fake and hollow
at an awkward period of they first come out with the video games have grown up and we swear and shoot and blood now, and then the second wave of video games have grown up and we're all very embarrassed about the last 5 to 10 years of games we made.
So we're very embarrassed. We're going to do the exact same gameplay.
Oh yeah, no, we're not going to kill the goose.
With the exact same enemy factions, but now we're going to talk a lot about how we've grown up because we have the exact same sort of plot that ends the exact same way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that they aren't even prepared to do something new plot-wise. It's literally just, let's hit the plot points of Gears 2. What are you doing? While being wrapped up in, like you said, Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, it's troubling. As for the scenes that are serious character moments, it's like the opening of the game where they're just look at this beautiful butterfly. It's molting its shell and becoming a new beautiful creature that you should all appreciate. And then Bob's like, she's the daughter of the Locust Queen, isn't she? And then my jaw drops and I go, oh God, the only thing I know about Gears 5 is she's having visions. Oh my God. And so from that moment forth, as they do this incredible symbolic imagery, every moment forth in that game, it's just you see the writer on screen frantically typing, or you just see 20 quips. That's the only two types of cutscenes in that game.
I hated your fucking Gears 4 stream. I went back and watched the whole VOD because you made me notice, and I didn't notice this playing it because I was disassociating from the things they were saying. I was trying to protect myself. But every single line almost is justification for what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's so bizarrely insecure.
Yeah,
it makes no sense. I'm here to play the game. I'm not. Did you write this to own the CinemaSins guy? Because that's what it feels like.
Right. Because what Chris is getting at is that it's not. They're writing causal reality and connections of things. They're writing receipts and checks to make sure, oh, see, I can afford it. Like, this makes sense. Fuck you. And they'll just have a character open their mouth and that'll crawl out. It was really weird. I think that's the only game we've played this year on the channel that did that.
It's like multiple times in every level, something pops up and one of the characters has to immediately explain why. It makes sense. It makes sense. We promise.
Yeah, there's a lot of
that it makes sense.
Like, they do it for technology. They do it for character motivations. They do it for a bunch of things. And it's like, please stop treating me like a fucking child. Like, I can buy into whatever you're doing, please. And then they still just do broad things of redefining the image of what Gears is, like, technologically and stuff like that. It's very bizarre game.
They also kill off Anya between games.
Yeah,
I don't know,
because she's a woman. I guess I don't know.
I need to check who the voice actor was.
It was so upsetting because the end of Gears 3 is, and this is the hugest betrayal in the first 3 Gears games, if you ask me, has a case of the not gays. And in this moment where it's like, you would think Coltrane and Baird come over to console Marcus Phoenix about the passing of Dom. Instead, Anya does it, because in Gears 3 they write in, well, she was your childhood friend. That's why your dad, Bardock, recognizes Anya. So for them to do that, he really is Bardock, though.
No, I know. I had to hear that part about him being a brilliant scientist.
And buff as shit and the coolest guy ever. I love that Gears writes dads like Marcus Phoenix dad is written like every 8-year-old imagines their dad, where it's just like, oh, there's the strongest, smartest guy in the world, and they'll beat you up, and they're going to solve the world.
Like, if you can track it, they are the people that all of those dad action movies are being made for now.
Yeah,
and the sad dad AAA video game, like, that is that crowd.
Yes, absolutely.
I do think that I do think Aggro points out something that I've noticed a lot, where it's like, The Last of Us has this weird reputation among journalists and stuff as being like this woke progressive game, liberal game. And then you look at like the actual fans of Last of Us, and they're in the replies of every tweet about how similar the remake looks to the original, sending death threats.
Yeah, there's a huge disconnect.
It's like the Gears audience and the Last of Us audience are basically the same somehow.
No, I agree. Yeah. I know people who are into Gears who bought a PS3 at the end of the generation to play The Last of Us. So I agree with this assessment. But what I was going to say is doing the not gays with Anya at the end of 3, and then the opening 4 is just like, your mother Anya died in between games. I'm like, I'm so fucking tired. It's the only game franchise where I've just been like, hey, how about you fucking leave women alone? How about you just fucking
no more women in your games, please.
No,
you can't do it. You aren't trusted.
So the fact that the entire game is a game-long journey to prop up, instead of Marcus Phoenix's son as the true protagonist of the new era, this lady, I actually don't remember her name. Holy shit.
Laura Bailey.
Laura Bailey.
Kite?
Sure.
Kate?
It's probably Kate. I think it's Kate. They prop her up as she is the actual important character that this has been about.
Except they fucking don't. That's something they said about 5 after the fact, but it's like, no, she was there quipping. The story didn't feel meaningfully about her at all.
You mean 4?
Yeah, 4.
Okay. You said 5, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, no, they said that that's why they made her the protagonist of 5, because 4 was actually really all about her, and I'm like, no, it fucking wasn't.
But the ending
it was
of
about
4,
nothing.
One, yes, but 2, the ending of 4 literally just goes, your mother is going to tragically pass because, once again, the series shouldn't be allowed to have women in it.
You have to kill her because that's how this works.
Every time we inject women into the body of Gears of War, it rejects it. We leave with the tease that she is, in fact, the granddaughter of the Locust Queen.
And then the title screen of Gears 4 spoils that the Queen is still alive in Gears 5.
Because they need you to know Gears 5 is a video game, and you need to play it now, and you can with Game Pass. That's what playing an Xbox game in 2022 is like.
Yep.
That's fucking weird. So anyway,
it makes sense when Call of Duty does it because they don't have story. Right. Like that the campaigns are not even connected to each other usually.
Right. So
It's insane to do for a series like this.
This is another thing. Like, I've never played a franchise, not even Mass Effect, where the story just stops and they're like, come back at the next one. Like, even Mass Effect 1 and 2 both have endings where it's like, yes, the looming threat still exists, but we solved what this story was about. And it feels like a conclusion.
Yeah.
What are you talking about, Chris?
None of the Gears endings do that.
Look, Gears 1, we blew up something and it ended the war. Gears 2, we flooded a city and ended the war. Gears 3, we killed every locust in existence and ended the war.
Oh, okay. So the war's over.
And then in Gears 4, you did nothing.
You saved your mom and you ended the war.
Except she died. You didn't save her.
You saved her by stabbing her to death. I don't know if that
Dan, you said this and it
qualifies.
knocked me out. Where it's like, this came out the same year as Doom 2016.
I had forgot that's how that timeline looked. Even now, I was like, when was that? 2014, 2015, maybe something like that. That's hilarious. What a
the
hilarious,
nicest thing
delightful.
I can say about Gears 4 is I thought when you put the helicopter on your arm and used it to cut something was cool, but they make you do it too many times.
Yeah, they do the power fantasy moment and it overextends its welcome and or overstays its welcome.
I think it's better than Halo 4. Because at least Gears 4 has guns that I like in it at all.
Which it's so hard to compare the two for me because Halo 4 was more upsetting than Gears, but that's Gears 4. But that's because Halo had a really great universe and story leading into Halo 4, and Gears has never had that. I wish it
is
did.
weird that both Gears 4 and Halo 4 are like, well, the last problem was resolved, so here's Frieza.
Yeah.
So anyways, that was Gears 4. I'm very excited to play Gears 5 and Vanquish, and not Gears Tactics unless we get really, really weird on that stream. Guess you'll just have to tune in to find out, or go over to the GigaBoots stream archive. But that's basically it for me, for what I played.
Whew.
Vanquish?
Vanquish. It's a cover shooter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's a cover
like trying to
shooter that
figure out,
punishes
like,
you for staying in
How
cover.
the pedigree lines up. I'm like, oh, right.
It's the best cover shooter.
I'm like, are you sure? Because every time I've seen that game, somebody's been rocket sliding on their knees.
Yeah, technically you could cover and shoot, but they have better options that they let you realize. What a good game. What a good ass game. I'm so excited. I'm glad that got an 8th gen port. Anyway, that's it. Oh, and Gears 4 rolls back the smart control changes of Judgment, so it feels like the earlier Gears, and that's frustrating.
Yeah, they seem to consider that like press up on the D-pad to get the grenade like a core part of Gears identity, which is what happens when a completely unrelated studio is now the successor of a franchise. They get really weird about every tiny little element of it.
It's you always end up in this situation where they're slavishly devoted to weird things and then completely redo other things. Like tone.
Yeah.
And technology of the world.
Yeah, I don't get it. It's so weird.
It's so weird.
Yeah, it was so weird to boot up Gears 4 and it's like, why is Vault Tech from Fallout here? Like, they have similar looking logos. Their robots look very Fallout-y. Like, everything is like Fisher Price blue.
Very, very, very last
They
thing
carry
I'm gonna say.
Nerf guns.
They do, actually. Absolutely do. Very last thing I want to say, because I feel like Bob probably, like, I feel like we finished the podcast, one of us, or maybe both of us would be like, we forgot to mention the bad guy who runs the coalition, who's supposed to just get upset on the robot face. They literally, so they have a lady.
The entire reason the plot can happen.
They have a lady who keeps periodically showing up as a robot with a projection face to get upset that you definitely this scant amount of survivors camping out in this last bastion of humanity. You are the reason entire villages have disappeared.
It's so insane. It's completely fucking bonkers.
In the entire game, you will just not simply communicate effectively and quickly. There are locusts. We're fighting them.
Yeah, like they literally. Marcus Phoenix is a respected war dude who's now retired. He won't tell them. He will not say a word about the locusts.
They mention it offhandedly, but Anya was the president.
What?
It's in some of the collectibles.
Man, that would have been interesting. Oh, well. Anyway, that's it. That's all I played. I was busy doing other stuff, so I didn't play anything else. Just those fucking games we streamed on Friday and more Kill Switch after that. We're going to go next to Aggro. Aggro, did you?
I started off this last week. I picked up Clubhouse games again.
Oh.
51 World Classics, because I realized I'd never gone through and tried to master all of the games.
Oh, is that a thing you can do?
Yes.
I mean, it is a thing that is possible.
Okay.
I assume, except I think some of them you can only checkmark.
Yeah.
I have since decided to put that dream aside.
Which game was it? Which game broke you?
Let me tell you. As much as I also don't think I could beat the impossible computer at chess, there is nothing as demoralizing as getting fucking rinsed by the intermediate computer in Hexagon over and over. I mean, it's like that scene in every kung fu movie where like the young upstart goes to the old master and he's like, "You don't look so tough." And the old master like picks up a piece of grass and just rearranges his fucking organs.
That's the intermediate computer.
Hexagon is not that complicated. You've got a hex map with 2 blue sides and 2 red sides, and you take turns filling in hexes, and you got to make a line from one end to the other. This might even be a solved game. Can't do it.
I don't think I've ever
My
played
brain
that one.
don't work that way. And it's like I just look at the end screens going, yeah, obviously he was going to do that.
Like, he won after all.
Like I realized, like,
stupid game. Of course he did.
I've gotten to the point where I'm like, I'm going to lose in 15 moves. It is not possible to win anymore. I don't know when that happened. I can't get that good. Like it must in the last 10 moves, I made a fucking Hikaru no Go mistake.
There's no way to reverse the polarity on this of I win in this many moves. You just can see the end.
I tried thinking really hard about friendship. I tried believing in the heart of the hexagon.
None of this worked out, huh?
Nothing.
Damn.
So I put my Switch to the side. I've buried that part of my life forever. I guess until somebody kills my wife and I have to go about Clubhouse Games 51 World Classics style revenge. I found out that apparently in June they're released a game called The Looker.
Okay.
It's free on Steam.
It is a hot lady simulator.
It is a parody of The Witness.
Okay, I get it. I get the name now. Okay.
Like you emerge from a tunnel into like the first castle area, like in The Witness, except instead of those box line puzzles, you've got like an actual, like it's mostly mazes that you fill in with a crayon, and you go from start to end. Except for many of them, you don't have to go through the maze part. If you just draw a line from the word start around to the word end, it works.
What a brilliant game.
It does. And then there's like there's audio logs you can activate that, you know, just like fucking do the bullshit they do in The Witness and then take a left turn somewhere. And it's pitch perfect satire. And then it gets weird. And like the weirdness and the oh shit, there are actual puzzles in this game kick in at about the same time.
Weird.
Yeah, so I've only played like a couple hours of it. It's good shit. It's free on Steam. Go check it out.
I need to download that. I actually have not played The Witness yet. I kept putting it off.
I played the fuck out of The Witness when it came out. I got like most of the trophies. I didn't get a few. And I looked up what you needed to do to get them, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's what I thought. And I'm not doing that.
No way, man.
I played enough of The Witness to realize, I think this guy's just fucking with us. But aside from that, the only other thing I played was the Solstice demo that dropped.
Yeah, I was really surprised you picked that up.
So was I. But I mean,
I also played the Solstice demo.
Was it because the main character looks like a girl version of Guts Berserk?
I mean, I'm not going to say that's 100% of the reason.
Okay.
The fact that I could make a Devil May Guts joke was also in the mix.
Yeah, of course. All I wrote down, or the first thing I wrote down was Berserk May Cry.
Dante's in Claymore. So, Bob.
Yeah, what's up?
As someone who likes character action games a lot more than I do.
Yes.
How found ye Solstice?
I think it's pretty cool.
The most Souls knockoff named video game.
I know, but
It's very weird that it not only is a Souls knockoff in terms of name, you're going through a very Souls-like area in this demo.
Mm-hmm.
You are, but you could rack that up to being also Berserk.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. There's just I'm like if you have platforms made of rickety wood, my brain now just instantly goes to FromSoft games.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if I'm on shitty looking ramparts of a castle made of wood, it's like some guy's gonna come out from behind that corner and stab me when I walk by.
And here I was just thinking, make sure you're running it at 30 frames per second. This part of the game doesn't work right at 60.
like the first, random zombie enemy in the game, I walked up to it and I stopped about 25 feet away and waited to see what its attack patterns would look like. And it went, oh, wait, no. This is not a Souls game. No. This is a character action game. I just need to go mulch that guy.
Yes, absolutely. Just go tear him to pieces. It
feels very God of War-y to me, like in how heavy you are. And also, a lot of the attacks feel like they have that God of War type of hit stop to them. It's a little bit different from Devil May Cry. And also just like her run feels like Kratos' run kinda to me. Also the fixed cameras is like feels very God of War-ish. Like I know Devil May Cry also has that, but there's like, well, you can move it a little is like a God of War thing.
Yeah, that's something that did feel more like older Devil May Cries and God of War. But to me it doesn't feel as much like God of War because you don't have you aren't locked in your combo as much. Like you hit the dodge button and get out of most combos. So in that way, it makes it feel a lot less.
The first swing of that axe weapon gives me the DMC flashbacks because it feels exactly like the first swing of the axe weapon in that game.
Yes. But yeah, you can definitely tell they really want to be Devil May Cry like because it has the pause combos, it has the launchers, it has a stinger.
I broke a barrel and red orbs fell out, and I'm like, oh, that's what we're doing.
Yes. But yeah, it is in a weird place where it doesn't feel as good as like a full Devil May Cry, but it has a little bit of the feel of the DMC or of some God of War-ness to it, but I feel like it's better than like a DMC to DMC. Like it falls on the better side of that. But you can definitely feel like it's not as polished as a full Devil May Cry game. I was surprised that you don't have a lock on like a Devil May Cry. You have a target lock kind of like a Dark Souls game where you just click in the stick.
I ended up never using it once.
Huh.
I was halfway through the demo thinking, one of those tooltips said lock on, right? I never ended up needing it for anything.
Yeah, I think it helps for the stinger because the stinger can go wildly in any direction.
Yeah, no, I never did buy that. I was like a few hundred short.
Yeah, I actually played through the demo twice, so I got all the abilities. Because it lets you just keep the red orbs and stack them up.
Okay, cool. I think I missed a fight.
You can.
I think because there's a big room and you can jump around the outside, and I think I missed a door by fucking up that jump.
Yeah, there's like a path that goes a different direction somewhere in that, and it lets you skip it.
Bayonetta-esque.
Yes, Bayonetta-esque, because they also does the same thing of at the end of the mission you'll see which ones you missed.
Yeah, the ranking system is also exactly like Bayonetta's, where it's damage, time, score.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can really tell exactly what these people played.
Yeah, it's one of them love letter games.
The ranking system goes gold, platinum, diamond, which I didn't. The first time I seen someone be like, "Oh yeah, there's something about platinum that's not just pure platinum."
As a person who does not play this type of action game, on the spectrum of combat, I lean way more into Soul style because the priority list is completely different. I had a lot of fun in the last boss fight in this game, or in this demo. Rather.
Yeah,
like by the time you got there, they had given you a lot of shit to manage all at the same time, and it all felt really nice to juggle around with.
Yeah, they do a good job in that boss fight of like, you need to learn these fields, which the fields is the thing that makes it different from these other games we were talking about. Of you have a ghost sister who can be it a blue or a red field, and that lets you attack different things, which I'm not entirely sold on that concept, but that last boss fight did.
It's like a weird, much less stupid version of DMC. The DMC again is like, what if we made that but not bad?
Yeah, because it's not like you're limited to weapons. Like you can use any weapon you want as long as they're emitting the right field.
Yeah, it's just it's a thing to enforce spacing and keeping your combo up and keeping track of what's coming at you
and being aware, because there's like these enemies are immaterial unless you have the right field up.
And if you're not doing it right, your ghost sister will just go away.
Yes. The ghost sister does some other weird stuff like that counter systems that she has.
Yeah, she does a lot of
freezes a guy who tries to attack you, but the attack will still come out, so you still have to dodge it. It just widens the window.
Yeah, for the melee. It is an interesting system where like I'm now more focused on the offense that I'm doing, and I'm just every now and then when the prompt comes up, hitting the button and just it's how it's presented in the game, just letting her take care of the defense.
Right, she'll literally like push or shoot back projectiles and stuff is only the time that be, and it kind of gave me vibes of the Batman combat where it'll have the dudes come at you and the flash goes off, you hit the counter button for that. And it's a way of putting that in a game like this without ruining it. And there's also the meter that goes along with her. Instead of a style meter, you have the synchronizedness.
Yeah.
Synchronicity? I don't know. Is that a word?
It's a police song. It's a song by the police.
If you have that meter max out, she does more damage when she does the blocks, and you get to do a super move that if you pull off the end of a pause combo, it'll end it with a crazy new move. I'm like, this is neat.
I only got that meter up one time, and that was before I had learned how to do the combo it wanted me to do to pull that off.
Yes.
So I was like, what does that mean?
I didn't actually use it until my second playthrough of like, okay, now I get what's going on, and I can just pull this off, and it's pretty cool. My computer does not run this game well. I turned it to 720p so I could lock 60.
Now, Aggro, I built your PC.
I had to
think
fight
is that
with
right?
it.
I'm a little rough on the specs. You have the big penis, right?
I mean, for when it came out, yes.
I'm trying to remember when the hell that thing was built. I assume you have a 1080 Ti in that bitch, or a 1080.
It's a 1080.
How'd it run on your shit?
Fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bob, what if you had the big penis?
I didn't.
I was able to run it in 1080p at 60, but I had to fight with it to get it down from 4K. Like it was struggling. It was like, no, I want to be at 4K.
Yeah,
you can't run at 4K.
I had to turn it off and turn it back on to get it up 4K because it was like I can run 19 frames per second. I'm like, that's not going to work, guys.
It's a scrappy little young character that hangs out with the cooler older kids. I got this. I can do 4K too. No, you can't.
You can't. Disappointingly, have to reawaken my old mental map for looking at Xbox buttons on the screen and hitting PlayStation buttons on my controller.
Yeah, every PC game needs that flipper to turn it from Xbox to PlayStation.
Like it's not that fucking hard. Fuck
Sony
you.
needs to go like get this taken care of, which they seem resistant to for some inexplicable reason, even as they put their games on PC.
The weird thing is they actually have ways to do the the adaptive triggers and stuff on PC now.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
So they have the support there. The question is, like, are devs trying?
Even Steam had come out and said, like, oh yeah, we're having like full support for the DualSense. And I'm like, cool, that's y'all. What about
all these devs?
Fucking games?
Yeah, it seems like it's up to the individual developer if they want to have that feature, like want to have it switchable. Because I've seen it happen. I've seen a few being like, you can just turn whatever controller you want to say these.
Yeah.
So you can have an Xbox controller that you're hitting PlayStation prompts for.
I remember the time I played when I played Destiny 2 on PC, and like I had DS4 Windows on because I just assumed that it wouldn't take my PlayStation controller, and I played it for hours before one time I turned it on without DS4 on. I'm like, oh, why are these Sony prompts? Oh no.
Yeah, I'm really glad I don't have to use that program anymore because Steam integrates it so well these days.
Yeah.
Because God, that program was so hit or miss. It felt like it failed me way too frequently. Because this game doesn't have lock on, like I was saying before, in the traditional Devil May Cry sense, it means that they do two things that I don't like as much. Of you have to double tap forward to do the stinger, which feels like it doesn't come out right a lot of the time. Like I can't get it to come out as consistently as I could if it was just lock on, then hit forward and attack. And they also means that the launcher is now locked to hitting square and X at the same time. And it's a special move for only a certain type of weapon. Which isn't bad. It just doesn't give you as much versatility.
I thought both versions of the Transform did it. You just had to buy it.
When you do it for the other one, the whip thing,
Yeah, it looked like it buzzsawed and then launched.
It doesn't launch at it's literally prop shredder from Devil May Cry 3. So I guess it does a minor launch, but it's not a full thing. You don't go up with them.
Right.
It just sort of juggles.
Yeah, it's mainly that for the juggle.
The light juggle.
But yeah, I think this game's really exciting. I'm definitely picking it up next month.
God, it's that close.
Yeah,
I'm also gonna. It's the 20th. Yeah, I'm also gonna grab it.
What does it come out on?
I think everything except Switch.
Yeah, except Switch.
Yeah.
It's not coming out on Switch.
I know, right?
The older I get, the more crotchety and unforgiving I get for women in plate armor where they're just missing huge chunks of it for no fucking reason. Like at this point, I'm looking at her in the rain on the undead castle going, that has got to be uncomfortable.
There's a reason.
Look, Aggro, she couldn't put that leg of the armor on, okay? It was this is important.
It's really tragic, actually. It's a part of her sad backstory.
I've memorized the weight difference and use it to gain a speed advantage in battle.
Yeah, it's like a Souls game. You just took off your pants because you need a better roll.
There you go. Did you play anything else, Aggro?
Nope.
Okay. Bob?
I did play a few other things.
Okay.
I found a game on Steam before I knowing any of the stuff about Gamescom was going to have demos.
Yeah. You fucked up and...
the Twitter was just like, hey, check this game out. I was like, oh, that's cool. It's called Curse Crackers For Whom the Bell Toils. For Whom the Bell Toils.
Not tolls?
Not tolls. I'm sure. I double-checked this.
Okay.
It's on Steam. You can go try the demo yourself.
So how cursed are these white people?
I don't think that... Like, I still don't know why it's called this.
I'm looking.
You play as like a former gymnast that worked for a circus. It's got a Game Boy Color aesthetic.
Oh, yeah, that game. Yeah, all the color choice and sprite design adheres the rules of the Game Boy Color.
Yeah, your main character looks kind of Armika-esque. She's got the mask.
That's what people remember our makeup.
Yes, absolutely.
Our winning smile.
Oh, these are the devs of Prodigal. I've played that.
Oh, I've not heard of that.
I didn't beat it because it crashed and cost me 45 minutes of progress, and I'm like, okay, we're done.
Oh,
understandable. Have a good day.
It opens up with insane lore about a dragon who created the world and had children and all of this, and then just the actual game opens and you play as this clown She's on a date and someone steals her boyfriend. I was like, okay.
Is she named Crackers?
I don't think so. I don't think that's her name.
Oh my God. We've got to get this figured out.
So many dead ends.
But it's pretty neat. You're going through these 2D levels with the Game Boy aesthetic. You have like a run button. You can also jump on enemies to kind of vault off of them and gain speed. And then you always have this bell that's with you. That's what the bell toils is about. You literally have a bell you show at enemies, and it's like a giant bell. It bounces around. You can actually throw it downward, then jump off of it.
Yeah, it's this bell in this image right here, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
To the left of our main character. Okay.
Also, the girl is named Belle.
Oh, is it?
Is
Bob,
the
do you
bell
have
named Crackers?
Yes.
Bob, do you have any facts about the word bell?
It means beautiful in French.
Thank you, Bob.
But yeah, it definitely feels like it's somewhat inspired by Shovel Knight. You do stuff like finding a dude in a stage who will then be a shop back at somewhere else. You have a world map you get to explore along with this. I thought it was pretty cool. I definitely started checking out the demo.
You said this was before Gamescom.
Yes,
this might be one of those bizarre demos where it lasts for more than 10 minutes.
Yes, I believe you can just go play this whenever.
Wow.
I think the game comes out like next month or something. I really hope the demo save transfers, because it let me play this game for like over an hour, it felt like.
Okay.
I'm like, this seems kind of ludicrous. I don't need this much of your game to know if I want to pick it up.
Yeah, I really appreciate all the devs getting into the Game Boy Color aesthetic. I feel like I've seen a resurgence of that, or the original surgence of that over the last 3 years, and I really appreciate it. Like, the color palette on the Game Boy Color is really good, and I think the rules of the Game Boy Color when it comes to how many colors you can use and etc. are actually pretty good for how that comes across as art. Like, I'm really glad that that new Way Forward game, that Mega Man X-like game being made by that indie dev, and all these other things are just doing that now, because I think it looks awesome.
Wait, what new Way Forward game? Because I know the new Shovel Knight thing.
The new Shovel Knight thing is using the Game Boy Color palette thing, yeah.
Wait, was there a Way Forward game
Sorry,
as well?
I meant the Yacht Club, not Way Forward.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They're a spin-off of Way Forward,
Yes.
so that's why I made that mistake, but yeah. No, Way Forward's, what are they doing now?
River
They're
City
doing
Girls
River
2?
City Girls 2.
Okay, there you go.
Someday Advance Wars is coming out someday.
Yeah.
Don't
When peace reigns on Earth.
remind me.
River
I'm
City
sure they're
Girls
doing
0
some
is
kind
finally
of
coming out.
Shantae thing. Well, that already came out.
Only on Switch.
Oh, yeah.
Dan, maybe they're also remaking Dual Strike. By the time it's done, they'll all come out together.
Wow. That'd be great. That'd be swell. Here's this giant pile of Advance Wars. Oh, it didn't sell that well per title. Guess Advance Wars just scorched earth now.
Right. Like, it comes out and, like, due to the poor sales of this weird collection of Advance Wars games, we are going to not release the completely finished remake of Days of Ruin we have.
I know I've covered this on the podcast before, but I have to say it again. Advance Wars is one of the most cursed franchises in existence, where the first one came out in America a week before 9/11. Days of Ruin came out right before the tsunamis and hit Japan, so they never released it there. It just kept being tragic.
They need to just call it Advanced Peace, and then be fine with releasing it whenever.
Advanced Peace, ooh.
Yeah.
This is Peace 2.
Yes.
It pulls out a gun! Oh, man. But yeah, I think that's... did you...
I had one more thing I played. Nekoark finally came out in Melty Blood. I'll type Lumina.
Ooh.
So you have decided to become a criminal.
Yeah, of course. Nekoark's a lot of fun. Their moveset's very funny. Very hilarious.
Funny cat.
Yeah,
It's been about 80% of my Twitter feed.
that makes sense. The plot's great. They just got their own story mode, of course, because everyone does in the game. She shows up with a character from Fate, just appears in this world, like, oh, we're in the world of the reboot Tsukihime. And then she starts talking about, yeah, they hate me here. I can't. We have to just destroy everything. Knock down that building. And then you think that she's making all of this up, and then you hear like a broadcast, a PSA being like, Neko detected.
This is amazing.
So yes, absolutely play that story mode. It's free if you have the game. She's a free download.
Man, that's some awesome post-launch support. We put the most important character in after launch for free.
Towel. That bathroom's got all the amenities. Free towels, little mints, Neko.
I also tried to play online. A mistake.
Yeah.
Everyone destroyed me.
But all the sickos are there.
I was able to make them clearly very upset by using Neko Arc.
You got to use the move that hides all the bars.
I couldn't find that one, but it was very clearly not making them happy when I was standing at full screen shooting laser beams and teleporting around, dropping random nonsense.
Oh, that's just smart.
But then they, could one touch death me basically. So if they got near me, I was over.
That's the good shit.
But she can fly around really easily, so you can jump in midair, then do her air dodge, which is her turning to a flat sheet of paper and wiggling, and she just do that across the entire screen, and then turn into a rocket and go the other direction. So that's a lot of fun. Very glad they added Neko Arc. This game would not be the same without her. Her intro also complains about them adding knockoff versions of her to the Elder Melty Blood. It's like, what do you mean they added me with a cigar? But that's everything I played.
Chris Wolfhard, did you play anything this week?
The only other thing I played is I streamed all of Final Fantasy 1. Because I had never played Final Fantasy 1 again, and I'm like, well, the pixel remasters are a good excuse to play Final Fantasy 1. I didn't expect that game to be quite so Ultima-like. Where there's a lot of you just scrape this game until you figure out what we want, bro. I don't think anything will be quite as dire as oh cool, I found the stuff that floats. This will let me get an airship so I'm not being assaulted by lizard men every 15 pixels on the ocean, right? I'll take it to the guy who mentioned it to me. He does nothing. And that's when I said, chat, help.
Yeah,
and they're like,
that.
To get the airship, you have to take that rock to an unmarked desert with nothing in it, and then a scene will play of the airship rising up out of the sand, and now you have an airship.
I actually tuned into your stream for a little bit, and I was really astonished to be like, man, these look kind of nice, but it's weird to be like, I played a better looking version that's on the PSP 15 years ago.
Yeah, those PSP versions cursed the future.
I don't like the PSP sprites that much.
Really?
Also, yeah, I think they're like too detailed for being Final Fantasy 1. Also, I like that the Pixel Remaster brings back casters using spell slots.
Oh, okay.
I think that's an important part of Final Fantasy 1's identity. It also forces you to make any decisions when just having MP is like, no, you don't have to make any decisions. You have MP. You can cast the same spell 1,000 times if you have the MP for it. But yeah, there's a lot of tabletop influence that doesn't quite work out because you can't really do like the caster thing that you do in a tabletop game where it's like, well, the fighters make things die, and the caster's job is to make it easier for the fighters to make things die by turning people into frogs and having giant pits open underneath people or spewing out toxic clouds that limit where people can go. But that doesn't really translate to a turn-based RPG where enemies shrug off all status effects. I barely even had to buff. I had to buff on the final boss because they increased Chaos's HP by 10-fold in this Pixel Remaster. So the fight didn't just instantly end. Like every other fight does. I wanted to fight Warmech, but he wouldn't fucking show up.
Coward.
Warmech is the quote-unquote super boss of Final Fantasy 1. It's not actually a boss, it's just a random enemy, but it shows up on a 3 out of 64 chance rolled independently in one hallway.
It's insane.
And I spent like 15 minutes getting into fights, and it's like, he ain't showing up. We're leaving. I don't think I'll ever play it again. I don't think the mechanics even really would give me anything out of doing like different party compositions. But I'm glad that I know now. But that's all I played.
That's it? That's all you played?
Yes, that's all I played, other than the things we already talked about. And Gears 5, which I can't talk about.
That will have to be delayed slightly to next week.
Chris
Yeah,
has to
just
be
know,
prepped.
Dan, just know. Every single thing you experience in Gears 5, I knew it was coming already.
You sick bitch.
It's really fucked up to say to someone. Well, shit. I guess that means we need to do, as we always do, our fiscal Podlord review for the week.
I'm very excited.
Gadzooks.
That's right. Our fiscal Podlord review for the
Featuring
week
assets such as
featuring
Bully,
asset
capital,
review
in the black.
such as Ely Broyles, a depressed Saints Row fan, Borb Up, Red Blaze 27, Zuzu Zero, Emperor Zero, Shibuya Gato. Mizuki says, leave Jiren Zaslav to me.
okay.
No one fights a Gaston like Gaston doses lights like Gaston. No one gores a man with his horn like Gaston.
What the fuck?
Pokemon is weird, man.
Toge was told to draw Bob's Excelgor.
Oh.
This is the first time a Pokemon needs a... Now draw it like he did. It was very nice seeing some tweets about Super Creep 64 where they go, that is not Excelgor. Why is that labeled as Excelgor?
Lore.
101 Shades of Wonderful Remastered. WTF Spider-Man. On April 26, 2053, remnants of Saints Row 2022 were found buried in Las Vegas, Nevada, much like the game E.T. around 70 years ago.
That does seem like how it's gonna go.
If they printed any copies, sure.
Right, but it's on the internet. You can't stop the signal.
Oh, fuck. The Podlords of the Fallen! It's very different. DFW 3K. KZ's phone when he forgot to turn off the wake up for BTD alarm. That would be miserable. I tell you what, sleeping through all of Thursday would top my list if I got out. Bob in last week's Big Think. Wow, Bob, you give it Excelgor the Congressional Medal. God. Kristen. Figma Demifine Nocturne and Rhino Kuzunoha Devil Summoner Serotonin Edition. BN12. This isn't a bit. Play Metal Max. If you don't play this amazing series, I will release the rats. Please let the rats go. This sounds like a reverse hostage situation. Give me what I want, or I'll let the hostages go. Kyle Bjork. Matty Mo. Iron Aggro. Blig the Blue. Slig the Blue. Monster Hunter Ryzen and Raiden. There is Sonic Frontiers DLC that replaces the sounds with Korone noises. That shit
Better release
better.
that in the state.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
They better. Jesus
What?
Christ.
That's real.
Yeah, that's real.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, Korone is like the Japanese Sonic ambassador because the Sega of Japan was like, we should get people who like our games to be spokespeople.
Oh shit!
Weird.
What a concept. Oh.
Stonks.
Cooper Tank. When Pass the Remote, see Saints Row reboot game upon release. Feels great.
You're like 7 years too late on that one anyway.
Soul Hackers 2. Oh, we got the famous Patreon swap.
How could
Oh,
they?
you got me again. Okay, let's. Hey, KZ, will me meet again? There were some typos here. And it's a week late. Soul Hackers 2 is out, ho. Here's me with a pretty haircut and drip, ho. That's a pretty good joke.
Some clips have come out. Ringo, that girl, is very quirky.
What? No way. You can't just. You wouldn't expect it from the design, right?
In an Atlas RPG? Apple Gothic is now Blackwing pilled and playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Again. Is this a good thing or a bad thing?
It was like, should we be sorry? What's happening?
Blackwings are pretty cool, but
Congratulations, or I'm sorry that happened to you.
I
Yeah.
genuinely don't. Because if I said, hey, I got back into Magic the Gathering, I think I would be in the same territory of, do we tell him we're happy for him, or... He do be drinking, though.
Release him.
Indigo Sykes. Hey, Aggro, can I get a yo?
Did you bring money?
I mean, kind of, they're a pod board.
Oh. Yo.
The what now moment after finishing Xenoblade 3.
yeah, that is how it feels when you beat a game that's 150 hours long.
Yes.
Not very summertime.
Not only is the new Saints Row horrid, they made the cat look like an animatronic, yo. This looks like part of the Garfield ride that melted a little.
Yeah, it's weird how
A
much
raccoon
that game looked. Go ahead.
A raccoon that is going to have a bad time with Saints Row. Okay, go ahead.
That raccoon looks better than anything in the new Saints Row, which looks like a PS3 game.
Saints Row's weird. After Gears 4, though, I'm like, I guess this writing's fine.
No, you haven't seen what I've seen.
Fair
It's
enough.
worse.
With Sakurai having a YouTube channel and Kojima a podcast, I can't wait for Yoko Taro becoming a VTuber.
That
Yes.
seems almost inevitable.
Right?
He gets one of the little robots from Automata, the little ones that are shaped like a drum and have a big round head.
Shinji16 wants to remind you that he's not somewhere you'd call Earth. He's talking to a cuff, and oh yeah, fuck all of SCOTUS. TFW when you forget to change your bit. When. CBU3 putting a farming sim in Final Fantasy 14. My next month's subscription fee is my soul. Bob Video Games once again proves himself to be a modern-day Nostradamus. How does he keep guessing correctly?
He's not guessing.
God, the fucking epic game story. I'm so excited to talk about it. The Super Mim. Lane's World 25. Been too busy playing Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous to watch streams, and thus I'm a bit less... I'm bitless. However, look at Henry. Thank you. Yeah. This is
Hi,
good.
Henry.
Thank you. Hi, Henry.
Good cat.
Saraline. Timothy Pfister. Oh, look. It's the new island sanctuary in Final Fantasy XIV. Pleochrome. Krunglespum. BBW Wild Wings 420 is growing strong and healthy like Minmo.
What are you?
Ominous.
Frosty Noodle, but no longer frosty due to summer temperatures. And Lord Richter has fallen into the SMT pit and will not return until completing SH2. Wow, Silent Hill 2? That's cool.
Congratulations, or I'm sorry that happened to you.
Thank you very much to our fiscal podlords. Much appreciation for our partners at Podlord Inc.
Much appreciation. Such podlords.
Oh, wow.
Much appreciation.
Much appreciation.
I look forward to our future business endeavors.
And if you would like to form a business contract with Big Think Incorporated, you can go to patreon.com/gbpodcast. For an investment fee of as little as $5, you get access to many benefits, such as early access to our product, Chugging Bleach, our show wherein we review all of Bleach, even the Bount arc.
Delicious product.
We already finished that, thankfully. Extended armchair dev pitches and gamer premonitions when the market decides those shows need to be shorter. And a patron exclusive show, one per month, wherein you get to vote using your stock options on what thing we have to watch and then talk about. That's patreon.com/gbpodcast. And if you currently lack investment funds, you can always help us by spreading the word, hosting this on Thursdays, rating, etc. Patreon.com/gbpodcasts.
I love product.
Yes.
It's, you know, you're going to want to race over to there real fast because you don't know when we'll just pull the trigger and half of the content's gone.
I feel like the longer that Chris speaks in that voice, the closer we get to potentially just starting an NFT division to spend billions of dollars on and then flame out.
No, they try really hard to sound too human.
Wow, guys.
It's like, here at NFT Bullshit Industries, we're really invested in making the world worse.
Good chow.
Wow, good job, you guys. You're doing it. You're really doing it. We got some news. Let's do some quick ones real fast. PS5 now has an on-console tournament feature. People are already setting stuff up. This is cool.
Okay.
I'm excited for that being utilized in tournaments. We got some images and stuff. It looks neat. Link to the Past has a PC decompilation now.
Ooh.
It's funny for that to
okay.
come after Ocarina.
Ocarina of Time.
Right, and it's like
It's like that's not nearly as exciting.
no. I mean,
Like, I'm
SNES
sorry.
emulation is way farther along than N64.
Yeah, like like I'm not as interested in people like injecting new shit into Link to the Past as I am Ocarina or Super Mario 64.
Which is your way of saying Link to the Past is a much better game than Ocarina of Time. I agree.
I don't know if I'd go. I haven't played Ocarina of Time in over 20 years, Dan.
Don't go back and just agree with me, Chris.
I feel like you have a much greater potential mod wise for Link to the Past to be turned into Frank's Adventure than Ocarina of Time.
Turned into Frank's Adventure? What Chips Challenge shit is this?
Nothing. Let's move on.
Okay, fine. What else is there to quick rapid fire? They announced in every region, but the United States of America so far that they're raising the price of the PS5.
Disgusting.
Sony needs a black eye bad, and Jim Ryan needs to be thrown the fuck out.
I'm not sure, for anyone who didn't follow the arc here, their shareholders literally screamed and begged for this 3 weeks ago.
Right, because shareholders
Are
evil.
Are not
Yes.
human beings.
Yeah, they're not human. So that's insane. Because
Literally
that shows
unprecedented, I think.
It is, yeah. This shows a gross lack of understanding about what the product they make is and where they get their money from.
Mm-hmm.
The PS5, they charge rent on it via PlayStation Plus. They charge super rent via PlayStation Plus. They make
get a
money
cut
off
of every game they sell.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Like, this
Fuck
is-
$50. That's insane.
This is something Sony has understood traditionally.
Yes.
I mean, the PS3 was weird for everybody, but
Yeah,
Well,
but
now
they
Jim
still
Ryan's
lost
in charge, and he's
$200 a pop
obviously
on that.
incompetent.
Yeah, this is insane. You should have never given into this. This is absolutely peak stupidity.
no, this
Yeah.
this is like loss of confidence in management.
Like
Stupid.
6 months, and they're gonna have to take a black eye and make it $475.
Yeah, they're gonna have to drop it below what it was.
This is nuts, as they are currently preparing that hardware revision.
Yeah, they're doing that.
Here's the
and
thing.
then they want people to buy VR.
And they're doing that. They want people to buy VR, and they're like, we're investing all this money in being able to meet the demand. This would be if you were like, okay, we're not going to be able to meet demand for like 2 more years. At least it would have the angle of a price raising will lower the demand, because that's how it fucking works.
Mm-hmm.
The more something costs, the lower the demand for it is. But now it looks like we're going to increase the supply and raise the price. That's not how that fucking works.
But see, they still haven't met the demand, so by doing both, they'll definitely meet it faster. They're like, let's just bring that closer.
Fiscally, our goal is to make sure that no one wants to buy a PS5.
Yes,
Like,
and
what
we're
the
gonna do
fuck?
that really fast. Yeah, this sucks.
Yeah.
There's no justification for this. You see all these
This is
people
like
trying to
this
be
is
like,
a 7th gen Microsoft move, where it's like, well, only the United States matters. We can wash every other region.
I'm still not sold on they definitely won't do that here, but maybe at some level they realize this territory is so important they can't do something like that and fucking lose it to Xbox. Because Xbox as a brand is weaker in every other territory except for possibly Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
Where you get the craziest comments online for Brazilian Xbox fans.
It's like a whole nother country.
They are literally low tier god in your replies. But yeah, I don't know, man.
Like,
there's no
this is part of the
justification.
reason I want Microsoft to get their shit together, because somebody needs to be able to hit Sony when they do this. And Microsoft doesn't even feel like being in the same industry anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really strange. This is the problem with everyone coming up with such different things, different ideas around what their console should be. You know, Nintendo went very low performance envelope. It's a portable, so they're not fungible. They're not technically making the same thing as Sony. Sony's doing their hyper powerful premium games console, and then Xbox is like, we have the most consistent performance and a value club. And it's like, okay, so they feel like they don't have to make the premium experiences, so they don't have to compete. Like, Sony doesn't feel like they're directly competing with Microsoft in a way, right?
Yeah, that's a problem now, because it lets these terrible decisions on both Microsoft and Sony happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's insane.
And that feels like it's like becoming the standard. More and more industries are going into this weird, we're not going to directly compete with each other because we've hit the point where scaling up no longer makes us more money.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to just go insane.
Yeah, it's absolutely terrible. I don't want to read anyone online trying to be like, well, the cost of transporting a PS5 and all these other things went up. And I'm like,
Fuck you. It
I don't
doesn't
care.
matter. Don't matter. No care.
Right. Like,
you set your price, you stay at that price. This was consistent in the industry for over 30 years until Sony decided to get quirky.
Yeah, and like the console itself can't even back up saves anymore. So PlayStation Plus is less optional than ever. So they're charging rent on the fucking console. You don't get to sit here and be worried about the cost of manufacturing and shipping the console when you will make up that difference on your 99% profit margin on your fucking subscription service. Go fuck yourself. It's terrible. Yeah, these people are frustrating the hell out of me seeing this online. Let's move on though. Valkyrie Elysium demo apparently happening. It leaked via PlayStation file size via that Twitter account. It has not materialized since.
Yeah.
Another thing leaked via that. Voice of Cards, The Beasts of Burden. So yet another Voice of Cards game. That's going to be like 3 in the span of a year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd only seen screenshots of that. I hadn't gotten confirmation that had been found.
I assume
It had art. It had art. It's real. It had the title art.
I assume whenever they do that, the next Sony show or whatever that Square shows up to, they're just going to shadow drop that in this Valkyrie demo.
I mean,
That's
yeah,
almost
sense.
certain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really wish the earlier ones would go on sale so I could buy them. I don't want to pay $30 for them. I'd pay $20.
Yeah, 30 does seem like a bit much. I agree.
Especially because we're going on having 3
Yeah.
In just barely
But
under
I
a
am-
year.
Yeah, and just barely under a year. I definitely intend to play some of these before Game of the Year though, because I'm like, well, I like when I discovered Hearthstone, that took over my life for 4 days.
Hmm.
And when I discovered Legends of Runeterra, that took over for 4 days. And then thankfully they updated both of those games enough that they no longer worked on me. But that isn't a problem in a single player game.
Let's see. We also got Bloodstained update right after the big thing last Thursday that added a journey based area to the castle.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Yeah, it's bizarre. I still haven't had time to play it.
This is that game company's game, The Journey. Or sorry,
No,
Journey.
just Journey.
Just Journey.
The Journey's the sequel, obviously.
Obviously. Every single deal they do in this game is so weird and random. It feels like it's like no one.
Yeah, I just know that I'm gonna go back and play Bloodstained. I'll be like, okay, I feel the need to play one of these games. I'll play Bloodstained again. I'll do all these areas they add and be like, all those were really bad. You shouldn't have done them.
Yeah, that's how it was last time.
That's how it's been so far. The only good thing they've added since launch is the randomizer and classic mode. Like, those are the two great things. I guess you could also say Bloodless and Zungetz, but I honestly think the classic mode's better than either of those by a lot. We need, did anyone else write down any TV or movie news about games?
Oh yeah, didn't
I wrote
feel
down
good
the movies.
Yeah, Chris get a ton of those.
Yeah, let me see where those. Okay, I'll use that as the transitioning point then. Pokemon Unite 1 year anniversary. They're adding Mew, Scizor, and Dodrio.
It's a good Pokemon.
Correct. Somebody's gonna be like Doduo, and I'm like, okay, I'm apparently so dyslexic. I counted 3 heads. Anyways,
sorry, Aggro. Metal. It has metal. I'm
Scyther's
sorry.
still better.
Scizor's cool. I don't know what to tell you, man. Masahiro Sakurai launched a YouTube channel. It's good. Fucking go watch it. How? At this point, you don't have an excuse. A lot of people will just be like, well, Dan, I don't want to watch those Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences fucking podcasts where they interview actual people in the industry about their own games because they're dry and boring. You have visuals now. You have sound effects. It's highly edited. Go fucking watch the goddamn video. I don't want to hear it. And me and Bob had the same exact theory in isolation from each other. This YouTube channel probably happened because he played Multiverses. Because the first fucking mechanic he talks about is, hey, hit stuns are important. They help you realize where you got hit. By the way,
Multiverses not have hit stun?
No. You can assume every week ever I'm playing Multiverses, by the way, for anyone who's curious. You can only bring up Shaggy so many times. Moving on.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait until a Riley is added.
I'm gonna wait till Walter White is added.
Yeah, or him, either of those.
I'm gonna wait till they add the final boss, a bad CEO. It's gonna be like their Polygon Man. DualSense Edge was announced. I mean, hit stop, not hit stun. Sorry, misspoke. Anyways, DualSense Edge was announced. It's the Pro controller for the DualSense.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like the Xbox Elite controllers.
Hopefully not. Hopefully it has durability.
Well, I meant market segment it exists in, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's neat. You can switch out the whole stick module, so if you start having drift, you can just replace it.
It's cool. It's one of the features from those higher end ones. It's not on the Elites.
Yeah.
God, what's the name of that?
Scuff.
Yeah, Scuff controllers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're having drift, you could also just widen the dead zone on your sticks. It's a perfect solution that'll work forever.
Just keep widening it.
I played the PS3. You can make that dead zone 8 inches wide. It's fine.
Widen it until it's the Ouya controller.
As the one, actually, Aggro, did you try the Ouya while we had that borrowed? That thing's rotten.
I don't remember.
I accidentally stumbled into the Kroby Cat video about Ouya in the last week.
I played Tower Ascension when it was on the PS3.
Yeah, it was pretty good on the PS4. Yeah, it was good stuff. We still don't know when that DualSense Edge is coming out,
Or what price it is.
or what price it is.
It's $140. I don't know what to tell you.
It might be.
It might be
It's
more.
probably it might be more.
Yeah, that's my thought of like this could be a 170.
Because the Xbox ones are how much? 180 or 250?
I
Yeah.
always forget because there were several different price points throughout the time.
Right. And those things have pretty bad durability. If this thing was literally just the feature set of the SCUF controllers, but with durability, that would be super great. Next up, I guess we'll get to opening night live later so we can keep rapid firing these. We'll use this as a transition between my TV news and Feel's movie news. Horizon Zero Dawn TV adaptation being done by the showrunner for The Umbrella Academy.
That's not the problem that show's going to have, like talent. The problem is going to be we don't have money, so it's all going to take place inside a room.
Wouldn't it be cool though if they filmed it on the like weird CG wall that is the Obi-Wan stuff? Like all those Disney Plus shows, they have the VR, the Unreal Engine room.
The OLED cylinder.
You know what? I'd be a lot nicer to that show when it inevitably comes out if it has like Aloy fighting the obviously a PS3 model robot dinosaur.
That would be really
that
funny.
obviously is not interacting with anything in the environment. She's just like
shaking her spear at the background.
She's just like Nick arcading through the through the fight.
God.
Duck pterosaurs.
Aloy, you have to get 3 golden coins on the carpet ride.
I still just hope this actually has Aloy and isn't some horrible backstory thing with them locked in a cave.
If this is, feel free to cut from this moment just now to 4 years from now when it comes out.
Yeah,
just like the fucking
it being
Xbox Game
like
Store thing.
It set the whole first season just being like the before the shit went off part. Just seems so likely. Like once again, somehow one of the most crucial pieces of human writing in the past 10 years, the Surf Dracula tweet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like they did one whole season of the Halo show and didn't even get to the fall of Reach.
Yeah. So we go over to Feel for movie news.
They announced a shitload of game movies, none of which will probably be made. Remember the rule, until there's a trailer, it's not real.
Yeah.
Them being a Days Gone movie, a Gravity Rush movie.
Oh God, wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah, that's one of those like I couldn't believe Hollywood actually would make it. Like it just feels
It feels like a cruel joke that they announced it.
Yes.
Especially considering these are both things they said we're not making s'more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sega announced a Space Channel 5 and Comic Zone movie because Sonic being successful broke their minds.
What, you don't think Comic Zone would age perfectly into 2022?
I think you could make a kick-ass Comic Zone movie in 1998, but it isn't that year anymore.
What if you just did it the same way you would have done back then, just now, with a thing called Bravery?
I mean, I agree. That is ideally what it would be, but that isn't what it will be.
No, that's
Holy
not
shit.
going to be.
That could be the greatest film ever made.
Especially if you hear at least 15 times throughout the film, "See ya." Like, you need to hear that voice clip over and over.
It'd be great. It'd be about a modern day comic book writer just being dying artist, basically.
He's like, I like it inside my comic. I can afford rent.
Yes.
They don't make comics like we did in the 90s. What, bad?
Yes.
That BioShock movie is going forward again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
it's going to be Netflix exclusive. And they got the director. They got Francis Lawrence. He directed I Am Legend. He directed most of the Hunger Games movies.
Oh no.
And in some other trash. Like, once again, BioShock basically doesn't have a story. It's a setting.
Yeah, so it's a story.
They have a story. It's about the secret valley where all the people who are super smart and powerful go, and maybe things go well or bad or terribly. It depends on whether you're reading the original fiction it's based on or playing the video game.
I'm really good. I need to see how. I'm excited for this movie. I hope it actually comes out because I want to see how centrist they go with BioShock.
Oh, that actually that would upset me more than Pentaveret upset you two.
Yeah, like
actually, I would be vomiting
if it was just cowardice in either direction.
Like I need them to go full on with like libertarianism is a great system, but not like this.
Everything you believe is perfect, except whenever you try to execute it. There's always happens.
There's no bad systems. There's only bad actors within those systems.
And within these Netflix projects.
There's almost nothing but bad actors within those. Oh, man.
That's right.
Yeah, that's terrible. I now need that to come out so I can know, so I can get the it's like you both went, hey, 2 years from now, I'm gonna stick you with this needle.
Dan, I want to thank you for giving me an evergreen excuse to watch this shit. That I can deflect. No, I didn't choose to watch this. I had to watch it for content.
Someone made me. You're right. We did kind of make a profession out of rubbernecking.
What did the writer of this? What did the writer they got for this movie write? What have they written?
Oh, weird. Some screens on Twitter.
All of these have
21 episodes of Smallville, 33 episodes of Heroes.
Oh,
they wrote Blade Runner 2049.
Not 33 good episodes of Heroes.
Damn, they did. That's a bump.
Okay.
Sort of.
They wrote the Jungle Cruise movie.
I'm seeing in chat they wrote Logan. Is that right?
Oh yeah, that's on this list.
I think that might be the largest demerit on this list so far.
But there's like 4 people on that screenplay, including the director. So it's much more likely to be that the director did most of it.
Watching that movie, you can definitely see that where you go, I thought this movie was about this, but now it's about this, and you've cut the wires here, and you're pretending things won't fall. Anyway. God. Yeah, the thought of this just being hard centrist actually has made me nauseous. Concept-wise, that's one way you could make BioShock way worse. Let's move on to your other news, Chris.
Okay. Google's changing their algorithm to get rid of all those everything we know about God of War Ragnarok. And then it's 3 paragraphs that say nothing.
I actually ran into this for something that wasn't a game recently. Where I was like, hey,
it's like it's everything now.
Yeah, it's literally everything. These fucking bots are like,
get an AI to do it.
I go in there and I'm just like, hey, how do I activate the super AMOLED dark mode on iOS? And then it's like, oh, okay, here's how you do it. And I'm like, thanks, article. And I click in and it does PC and then Android and then it does iOS. And iOS, it goes, you don't. I'm like, fucking thanks.
Yeah, it's like it was when I was, that's the exact type of article I hit when I was trying to find out if the Master Chief Collection had crossplay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I remember that.
Heck, I think there's even like everything we know about grilled salmon.
Yeah, it's shit like that, but
we've never caught
Google's
one of the bastards.
But Google's like, we're killing that, and if you another thing they said is that if you put up game guides and we can tell that you copied them from somewhere else, like it matches exactly to text from earlier things that the search engine picks up, we're hitting you then too.
Nice.
That's interesting because I know a number of sites have just copied and pasted shit like that from other sites.
Yeah, when Xenoblade Chronicles 3 came out, they put out like a RPG site put out like a huge guide, and then the writers were on Twitter was like, here's a site that stole our shit verbatim, here's a site that stole our shit verbatim, here's a site that stole our shit verbatim.
Yeah, I think their thing was like, I put typos in it on purpose to see.
Yeah. That's impressive. Good. I'm not used to saying that about anything Google's doing.
Right.
Like, oh, Google's hitting
It's
somebody
nice
with the flamethrower. Oh, but
It's
guess
somebody
who?
bad.
Yes.
you click
it's
through
nice-
our article to find out.
Ah, damn it.
It's nice that they're at least pretending they should care about the efficiency of their search engine again, because it's slowly gotten worse.
Yes. Oh, it definitely has.
Some more quick things. The KOTOR remake has been moved to Saber Interactive, a company that has ever shipped a game they made.
I don't know about that.
I like the original guys who weren't the original guys.
Apparently, like, not just Saber Interactive, but like an Eastern European office of Saber Interactive. Like,
Yeah,
off
Saber
in a
Interactive's
closet
huge.
somewhere.
Yeah.
But honestly, an Eastern European office is who I want making every computer RPG.
I mean, yeah, basically.
We fucking nailed it.
Denuvo has cranked out some kind of fucked up version of Denuvo for Switch games. I look forward to when it... Because here's the thing, they made this, but I bet no Nintendo game uses it. This will be something that some moron will stick on their game, pay too much money, and then it'll be like, it makes the frame rate drop from like high 20s to 14.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas Nintendo would see that and be like, never mind.
Right.
Yeah. Taking all bets. Cooking Mama?
If someone ever steals the right to make one again.
Right.
Yeah, like somebody in chat pointed out,
Denuvo
Nintendo
has
didn't
it.
have this made. Like, this is them foreseeing something in the market. And I'm willing to bet the only reason this thing's... And this is one of those things where it's like, it's cool morons can convince companies to do things like this.
Right.
There were a bunch of like hand-wringy articles over the past year about how many people Google searched like Yuzu around when Metroid Dread came out, or around when Xenoblade 3 came out.
Yeah.
Or like how many people are tweeting about using them on Steam Deck, which for the record is probably somewhere in the ballpark of 9 people on Earth. So I imagine Denuvo.
Yeah.
I imagined the people at Denuvo saw that stuff and was like, well, we have to. Well, it's a market.
That's a market
Must be a
demand.
serious problem.
We have to fill the market demand, just like Marcus Phoenix must fill the holes.
I mean, it's really hard to find market space for a product that nobody wants and isn't useful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they find a way.
They do. They persevere.
Yeah.
As I have to say every time piracy comes out, and this article even said these things, this press release even said these things I'm about to say. We don't know how many people are pirating. We have no way of ever knowing that.
Mm-hmm.
Even if we did that, we would never have any way of telling how much money that costs you. And there's no way to ever prove if our product does anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally the only platform in the history of mankind that has been sunk by piracy is the PSP.
And
which
even
was a
that is
very
up in the air.
specific. I would think with the amount of units they shipped of the PSP, it's pretty fucking solid.
Its attach rate is bad, but it's not that much worse than the Game Boy Advance.
Is its attach rate really not that much worse than the Game Boy Advance? Because you
the
constantly
Game Boy
heard
Advance
about
is like 4.3 and the PSP is like 3.8. It's low, but there's been things with that attach rate close to it. So I'm sure it hurt, but I don't think it sank it. I think it sank the Vita from Sony making all these insane decisions to try and combat it.
Yeah, no, the fucking Vita is an engineered fucking bomb, and Sony went, wait a minute, it just blew up. Why did that happen? That's very strange. This building came down. Who did this to my building? Just plain demolition at their own headquarters. They're like, oh my god, pirates.
The Vita. Shit.
Yeah, that's you can't blame the Vita on literally anyone but Sony. Oh, right. Feel already talked about voice of horror.
Other than that, I guess we'll talk about Disgaea 7 because they announced it.
Did anyone else just feel fucking shocked that they were like, this shit's coming out in like 6 months in Japan?
It is a little.
The real one came out a long time ago. It just didn't come out on the fucking normal platforms in America because NIS is fucking stupid.
Yeah, they need to not do that again.
Yeah,
They
where
really
it doesn't
need
have
to.
a U.S. announcement yet. I'm so afraid they're doing it again.
I know. We just have to sit here. It's like the fucking BioShock movie. Where I just have to sit there and be like, don't you stab me.
I can't handle centrist Disgaea.
I have to pray that Nintendo just doesn't even bother to offer them money this time.
Maybe.
Yeah, because it obviously cripples their franchise. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Then
Yeah,
you try and
it
release it a
didn't-
year later for $70.
Yeah.
This is trying
$70
to like, end
on
this.
PS4, all even.
Yeah.
I feel like they could get away with that if it was just simultaneous. They could get away with it at all if it was simultaneous release.
Yeah, probably.
Mm-hmm.
But then they have to. Anyway, Disgaea 7 takes place in a feudal Japan type of place. It's like a big cluster of netherworlds, which are like Kingdom Hearts-esque planets in like the void of the netherworld. They fixed the stats. That trailer showed a character that was level 120 and had stats that made sense for a character being level 120.
Okay.
The key art already featured a lot of because they cut a lot of character classes in Disgaea 6
Yeah, they moved 3D.
because they went 3D. So then they showed them all. Like, we have male mages again, we have female healers again, we have like both types of archer, both types of samurai, both types of ninja, like all the because what they mostly did was like, these classes will now be one gender.
Mm-hmm.
We removed the other one in its design. So they brought that back. The two big features they talked about are you're now able to also endlessly grind your items
Good.
and reincarnate them back to level 1 to grind them again with better stat growths.
Insane. Thank you.
You can turn a chocolate bar into a spear or a spear into a chocolate bar. Do whatever you want. I think they said like make delicious weapons is one of the things they said. And the other feature is some kind of thing where you get really, really big and stand outside the map.
Yes. You go kaiju mode.
Yeah, you go kaiju mode, which makes me very excited for the post game when they bring in Flan and have her finally turn into Flanzilla for real.
Right? They can do it. We can achieve the dream. I was really glad they showed off the main character. I was a little worried they were going with, they're going to make him a cool guy like they did in Disgaea 5?
Yeah, 5 and 2.
Which made him like super lame because he was really plain and cool guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then the description for the 7 dude is, no, he's a goofball. He's a total idiot.
Good.
Yeah, it's like he starts puking up blood whenever he experiences human-like emotions like friendship or love.
Yes, I'm like, thank God. We need some stupid thing to be with him.
Good.
Yeah, the guy in 5, Killia was his name, didn't have anything going on.
Yeah. It's like he eats. I think that was about
he didn't even really have like a connection to any of the other party members because there was the character he's invested in is the dead girlfriend character. So he doesn't really have like chemistry with any of the actual characters hanging around.
That's rough.
Yeah, 5. I think that hurt 5 a lot.
It did, yeah. Should I go into the future games show?
No, let's dodge that for a bit. Try to get all the other small
Okay.
bits. We're going to aggro. Shoot.
Okay, well, going a little outside the oeuvre here. Wizards of the Coast recently dropped the first playtest packet for their public playtest of the next nebulous iteration of Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay.
They're not calling it an edition. They're not quite calling it a revision. Much like the playtest for 5th edition, which
They're calling it a comeback.
they didn't want to call it 5th edition. They called it D&D Next, but everyone on the planet called it 5th edition, so they're like, fine, we'll call it that.
Really?
But they're calling this next playtest 1 D&D. Because
one Saturday morning over here.
Ever since they launched 5e, their whole thing was, we want to make a base of rules and then bolt on shit to that so we can find out what works and what doesn't and throw it away and build this game forever.
Yeah.
They recently announced with that, this is something we've been looking for ever since they actually bought D&D Beyond. which is a website that has a character creator and a stat tracker and lists of items. It's a whole catalog of information, which a lot of people were surprised it wasn't owned by Wizards of the Coast until they bought them.
Yeah,
understandable. We figured that this was coming because that's most of what you need to make a VTT, a virtual tabletop. So they have announced and shown they are building a virtual tabletop in Unreal Engine 5. The whole thing is tilt shifted, to look smaller. It has actual 3D rendered minis on the board and particle effects and shit.
Nice.
Very
nice.
They did this with 4th edition when they launched it. They had a subscription service for a thing very much like D&D Beyond, and they said they were going to have an online, customizable battle map thing that just didn't fucking happen. And then they pretended computers weren't real for the next 15 years.
No, this sounds like Neverwinter Nights.
They were like, "Can you make an app for a character sheet?" And they're like, "An app on what?
What would that run on?
A telephone? But there's only room for the dial here. I don't see which." But it's back. We're making an actual VTT in Unreal 5. They've talked about how now that they bought D&D Beyond, they're going to do shit like you can buy a physical book adventure and you'll get a code for all of the terrain and the minis and shit for that adventure in the thing.
Wow.
I'm really hoping this is going to be open to community production and not a nickel and diming nightmare, because this is Wizards of the Coast we're talking about.
Yes.
We could
I
really
assume
go
it's going to be
way.
the last one.
Yeah, like that. It feels like you would need it to be not that to be relevant for actual D&D audience, because people want to make their own campaign.
Right. If you understood your community, then you would try to make it able to be powered by the community.
Right.
And if it is open, if it's community driven, everybody currently working on Tailspire is shitting and crying right now.
Right. Yeah. Fair.
Their only hope is that it goes completely the other way into a hellscape.
Please ruin this. They're like, come on, corporate greed. This sounds really awesome. Thank you for solving the mystery, because as I open the news document, Inagra has 2 bits of news, and I see the one that's WOTC announces VTT powered by Unreal Engine 5, UE5. I'm like, and after 1 minute straight of shaking, I go, Wizards of the Coast, but what does it mean? What is VTT? I don't understand.
LFG, AQ40, and TA.
Stop it! Please! That's awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool shit. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, man.
The only other thing I have, because I saw how many fucking shows were coming out this week, and I decided maybe don't go look for anything else.
Fair.
Was at the time when I pulled this, it was only the French and Japanese Twitter accounts and the UK Instagram account had announced PSVR 2 early 2023.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Just a picture in early 2023. By now, the US Instagram account has also posted this image.
Yeah, this is...
Who the fuck is in charge of messaging at Sony?
I don't know. They've been bad.
Jim Ryan's a criminal, yeah.
Before US Instagram reposted it, I was thinking, oh no. Are we not getting it early 2023?
Could you imagine? Only the French. And I'm like, I know this is your fault, Asobi. I know
it's like
this
Japan
is your fault.
and Europe, and Europe's like, us?
What? We're not used to this. What does it mean? That's awesome news. That is exactly when we expected it, based on all the stuff that's leaked about the hardware production and stuff like that. It's good to get a hard confirmation.
It's really nice to look out and make a prediction based on reason and observation and have it come true.
Yes, it is pretty nice. Bob. What is wrong?
You wish.
We didn't even write that into the news document that Bob called the fucking...
We haven't gotten to that game yet. They haven't announced it.
We'll cover it when we get there. Hey, guys. Hey, this is Dan here. The same guy who said, yeah, you probably want to get these next consoles at launch because it's going to be a hellscape to get them. If you're interested in PSVR 2 and legitimately think you might get it in the first year it's out, maybe just try to get it at launch.
Yeah, they might increase the price later, as we found out recently.
You know, when I read that news about them increasing the price, I'm like, guys, we're 2 years into me being right. You don't need to make me more right. Come on now, be reasonable.
Maybe that's the strategy to drive VR sales. Like, fuck FOMO. It's fear of getting fucked.
Tim Ryan knows one strategy.
Fuck them.
And gamers absolutely hate it. Yeah, so given the nightmare hellscape we live in with all that shit, I'm getting this at launch. I'm very excited. We saw a lot of VR games this week, and it just made me go, man, that Horizon game looks absolutely unreal in comparison to any of these. Because once again, and this is a point I haven't really stressed before, when you watch a trailer for VR games, you need to understand. I've explained before the idea of like, it looks like dog shit in the trailer. When you wear the headset, it's amazing. I didn't explain at a blanket level why. They literally have to turn off half of the graphics features we've invented over the last 15 years. You just imagine you put down half of your tools and then said, okay, now paint it.
Like, no, we can render 3D like this. No, but they're looking at it in binocular vision now.
Right.
I'm sorry, what?
Like, you can't do bump mapping. You can't do certain types of other filtering and like fake 3D that looks amazing in a video game. But if you do it for two eyes, you will lose your mind, as a rock is not the same between your left and right eye. So yeah, I'm very excited for that Horizon game to look great, and hopefully some other game shows up and that isn't a himbo.
There's that backlog of VR1 games. They're saying they're gonna work work on 2.
Oh, nice. I actually wasn't sure.
Yeah, they didn't come out with a hard list or anything, but they're like, we're working on it. We're getting them up to date.
Oh yeah, that's true. They also have Resident Evil 8.
Yeah, Resident
That's
Evil 8.
going to be playable at Tokyo Game Show in PSVR 2. I'm going to go to Japan. I need to see that ass.
Bob, you need to go with him. You guys can just Mega Tokyo it up for a couple of years.
No, don't mention Mega Tokyo.
Which one of us is Pyro? Oh.
Which one of you is going to strong arm the other out of their shares of GigaBoots under dubious circumstances?
Bob really wasn't invested. Didn't you run it for years out of his living room?
Cuts to sad Bob and Snow.
Sad Bob and Snow. It's my happy place. We're gonna move on. Oh, I forgot to update our names down here. Oh wait, no, I updated mine.
Yeah, you did. You sure did.
Hey Bob, I hear you have news.
I do.
Okay, let's do it. Did you watch that Alien Chronicles 100 Heroes trailer?
I did, but it didn't really like have anything new to me.
Okay,
it just felt like any other trailer for that game I've ever seen.
Okay,
I'm glad it doesn't look like the terrible Metroidvania they made.
Yes.
I think they said they're showing more at Tokyo Game Show.
Yeah, it was a teaser for a Tokyo Game Show trailer, which is insane. Like,
yeah, that is insane.
I'd get that if you're showing it at like the big event. Instead, it seems to have just leaked out alongside everything else Gamescom happening.
Well, I mean, I'd rather it just come out with the chaff than take up time during the show of like, hey, welcome. This is nothing. We'll see you later.
Yeah, I would also like that they just didn't do anything, and then at Tokyo Game Show where you get surprised.
Yeah, I'm okay with either of these.
I go a couple of weeks without hearing about Alien Chronicle, and I'm like, is it still real? Is that beautiful dream still real?
Maybe I have a different perspective because I get the emails weekly.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah,
it's like, I know it's real. You're showing me every single hero. I don't need to see them. Stop emailing me.
Every time I still get an email about Bloodstained, I'm like, what the fuck, man? I bought it. Go away.
Right?
That's how I feel about whenever I get an update from something I backed on Kickstarter that's been out for so long. It's like, no, we're done.
Here's what we're up to now. Don't make it weird.
Other than that, we heard about Kenna Bridge of Spirits getting a anniversary update September 27th. This is actually really cool. They're adding a bunch of stuff. The New Game Plus mode adds new encounters, new challenges to face, like the chess challenges and stuff, unique enemies, and new phases for boss fights. It's like, wow. I very rarely see New Game Plus modes actually do this.
Yeah, that's really cool.
They're adding a new mode called Spirit Guide Trials, which is like some really higher levels, wave defense, obstacle courses, and boss refights.
Oh, cool.
I was like, that's cool. And that doing those unlocks new outfits, apparently. So that leads into, hey, they're new outfits.
Uh-huh. How are they unlocked?
We can keep going in the circle, Dan. We can. They're adding charm stones, which seem like accessories that can affect you in combat in different ways. Like some are positive and some are negative. Like it sounds like there's going to be a sort of skull system from Halo where you can make it harder in a way you want it to be. And then they're enhancing the photo mode, so there's new poses, new lighting options, and you can move the camera in some new way.
My number one emotion getting this announcement is that I'm kind of sad that I beat it last year.
That's fair.
That game was a great experience, and this sounds like an even...
I'm getting hyped that I got distracted
there you go.
after a few hours.
Fucking there you go.
But a bunch of the new stuff is the New Game Plus mode, so they encourage you to go through it again now.
That's true.
That's how it seemed. It was set up specifically for that.
Yeah, so I'm really excited to go back. I'm sad that it's coming out right next to Solstice and Valkyrie Elysium. I was like, I'm kind of tied up right then.
Maybe Elysium will be terrible.
I mean, probably, but that's I'm still going to play it for 30 hours, aggro. I don't know what you understand.
Yeah, no, I get you.
I'm choosing to have faith. They hired somebody who knows how to make action games to make it. That's more than almost any action RPG developer ever has done.
I know. Like, I like that Samurai Jack game. Wanted Dead. They delayed the release until February 14th, Valentine's Day.
Oh.
Then they have a trailer about it being Valentine's Day, and you know they pumped that up. And then later, a few days later, they let IGN Japan release gameplay footage, just 10 minutes uncut.
Now, Bob may phrase this and frame it in various ways, but I need to let you all know the truth right now. Strategically, a fucking mistake.
Yes. This is Devil's Third 2.
It really is the
I think
sequel
we even
to
said
Devil's
that.
Third.
Oh, yeah?
It when you see it, you go, this sure is yet again an action game third-person shooter that does not control right, that looks hilarious.
I actually watched that extended gameplay thing.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with Devil's Third very much, but I spent that whole thing going, wow, this game probably looks better if it's played by someone who can.
Yes, they also seem to have let an IGN editor play it.
Yeah, this seems really janky, but that's what I expected, honestly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wanted Dead is absolutely like a game we're going to play when it comes out on stream. Because I'm here to announce 7th Gen Wonderland 1. So we're playing Devil's Third. That is the that is the second theme month. So we're clearly we need to play the original and then the sequel.
Yes.
There's one other game you'll have to play before this comes out to get prepared.
But what is that?
Ninja Blade.
Man, which one's the best? I just don't know. Is it Ninja Blade, this amazing action game that runs like shit on PCs for some reason?
Don't worry, it's
Amazing
not
action
an
game
amazing
made
game.
by FromSoft.
It's also intensely jank.
God.
It's a prequel to Metal Wolf Chaos.
That's a plus.
I'm still super hyped for it, to be completely honest. That looks super jank, but I'm all for it.
Yeah, it oddly enough reminded me a little bit of combat in Ghost of Tsushima. Not mechanically, but in the way you can play it as efficiently as possible, or you can make it look cool as shit.
Yeah.
One of these is your goal.
Like you
I
could
need,
just go
I need
shoot
the
guys in
ability
the head.
I need the ability to throw sticky bombs at guys and them not know what to do.
I want to see confusion before they die.
I like that it has the system from Ninja Gaiden 2 where you chop off a dude's arm and he's like, nah, we're doing this. I've still got one arm left. I'm going to try and use a grenade.
What, am I going to surrender now? I'm fucking committed.
Yeah, now I'll calm down.
I think it's funny how much the enemies in this just look like Isaac from Dead Space.
Yes.
A little bit.
She does it to one guy in that gameplay section, and he looks down at the huge knife in his hand, and he's like, that dumb bitch didn't cut off my knife arm. I'll get her now.
Yes.
You idiot. I love that it is my arm without my knife.
It's got the grenade indicator like a FPS now, though. So you can just see on the map when they pull the grenade. It's like, I have time to run now. You're not just locking me down and blowing me up.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, no, this
Anyway,
game looks...
we all have a moral imperative to support non-Souls-like action games.
Yes.
Until the industry accepts that should be the standard and not Souls-like action games.
I mean, you're totally right. It would be nice if more diversity got worked back into action games from a mechanic standpoint. Also, this Wanted Dead will probably be the funniest motherfucking game.
Yeah, did you guys see the part where you die? And then silently a dude walks up and injects you with something slowly, and then you get back up.
You get the full Bioshock Infinite cutscene.
Yes!
And then the
Do you think that
gunfight
happens Do you think that happens every single time you die?
Probably.
It's like that thing. Like that thing in Too Human that's terrible, except it's good.
I think there'll be a limit to it, because the second time they died in that trailer, they just cut and restarted the section. I was like, okay, you didn't watch or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I also really like that you have this elite squad, and there's the member of the squad who just speaks in sign language.
Yes.
Like I'm like, my eclectic cast. I need this shit. That's how I know they're going directions. For people who don't know, Devil's Third opens what is basically maximum security prison, and our main character, covered in his crazy tattoos, is just doing an insane drum solo in his solitary confinement. It's like, they let him have that? Wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you roll up outside of the cast, I'm like, this is some Shiro Masamune shit. Let's fucking go.
Have you never watched Baki? If you're a big enough badass, you get to have whatever you want in jail.
Yes, it's directly from there.
Yeah. It's really good. I'm very excited for the Devil's Third stream. I hope 7th Gen Wonderland ends up on average great.
I wonder what came first, Ricky O or Baki?
Probably Ricky.
I don't know, because Baki's super old too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ricky O's Korean or something.
The thing is that Rikio is only a tiny part of Rikio is about that jail.
What?
Oh yeah, there's a whole manga.
I thought it was all in the jail.
He's out of the jail like in the first 2 volumes.
Whoa.
And then the rest is about him discovering that his secret parentage that may or may not be Adolf Hitler.
Cool.
You were saying something?
I was saying that I hope on average 7th Gen Wonderland turns out great, because I love every game in that list. But that doesn't mean content-wise, playing them all the way through, that it will be a smooth ride. Because for all I know, Stranglehold goes to absolute shit before the end. And so does Folklore. I mean, think about it this way. All of us own Folklore. None of us beat it.
In my defense, I played it wrong.
Okay, how did you play it?
I kept switching back and forth between the two of them. I thought that's how you were supposed to do it.
That's what I thought too. And so when it became, I'm playing through the same level twice. That kind of got old.
I forgot they had the mechanic. Good lord.
But yeah, that game's cool as hell. I'm really excited for 7th Gen Wonderland.
Yeah.
For anyone who's like, wait, weren't you going to do a second time voting? Trust me, based on the numbers, it doesn't make sense to even try.
Yes, 7th Gen Wonderland run by so much.
And the only 2 people that would have been left, it beat both of them in the last fucking vote. So it makes no sense to be like, but do you actually like this more? It's like, it went up against each solitarily. So that's how that happened.
As far as my news goes, they also announced the Game Awards. It's coming December 8th this year. Like usual. It's a Thursday. Very hyped. We got a Destiny 2 event right before the Gamescom event.
Where they announced things they then announced at the Gamescom event, kind of. They got to do it in more detail.
Right. They did like a single fancy hype trailer for a game or Gamescom, but this is a much more in-depth sort of thing. So they announced the Lightfall expansion coming. That's the next big one. Adds a grappling hook for every class,
which is cool as shit.
The weird thing is, it seems like it's a new subclass It's not so you don't just use the grappling hook whenever. You have to switch to that subclass to use the grappling hook.
Okay, that's interesting because the double jumps were class based.
Yes.
So I have to wonder if it's literally your double jump.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how it works. It seems like it's slightly different for each character class, and they each have a different move along with it, and it's based on threads that they see in the world, and I guess it's off the darkness.
They're grabbing the green darkness threads of fate or something. Who knows?
Yeah, it's there's a lot of nonsense to explain it. You get a grappling hook, that's cool. In features that should have been added 8 years ago, we're getting a fire team finder, so you can find other groups of people in game with a actual menu. That's nice. They're adding a loadout manager, so you can set up various different sets of equipment you want to be able to switch between easily. Something people have been asking for since day one.
Yeah, that's kind of nutty that wasn't in there.
Yes. They promise they will no longer sunset any more expansion packs.
That's good.
Which
now
makes
bring everything
Sundown.
back.
Yes. That just makes me think that this is the last one, isn't it? It's like, yeah, we don't have to delete anything else because we don't have to add it anymore.
Maybe.
We'll see.
I don't remember what the roadmap looked like.
Let's see. They also talked about crossovers they're doing. They announced their Fortnite crossover. Was the trailer is literally them shooting Shoot Cave.
Okay.
Or
I mean,
Loot Cave, as a lot of people call it.
Well, they're wrong. Shoot Cave. Look, finding loot in a cave is unremarkable. RPGs have been around forever. Shooting a motherfucking cave from outside the cave, just looking at it and shooting. That's remarkable. You all named it wrong. Anyways, that's weird. They used to have the biggest chip on their shoulder about that, but I guess that guy's probably not at Benji anymore.
Right. And who knows? Maybe the people who, work for Fortnite.
Right.
They tuned into what people actually liked about Destiny.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They also announced a Fall Guys crossover. Pretty weird. I guess most of these are happening because it's coming to the Epic Game Store. Most of those are on Epic Game Store.
Okay.
Maybe it's Sony going like, we own this now. Do more.
They're like, we would like that Epic Game Store paycheck. It's like, then why aren't you doing that with Spider-Man? How about you shut the fuck up?
Because Spider-Man will sell?
Spider-Man will sell a lot.
Unlike your game, which is...
I still think... Well, I mean, it's free. And then you got to sell the expansions. But I still think it's the funniest thing in the world. It's like, Sony expects to sell this unreasonable number of PC sales by the end of the year. And everyone's like, how unrealistic. They announce it's Spider-Man and Miles Morales. And it's like, oh, okay. I
guess that makes sense.
That almost seems conservative now. Oops.
We got a new trailer for The First Descent.
Descendant is what you wrote here.
My bad. The First Descendant.
I'm like, The First Descent came out in the 90s.
Yes, I was thinking of that. This is a Korean third-person shooter that clearly wants to be Destiny.
Okay.
It looks pretty cool. I don't know if any of this is real gameplay, but the beta's out in October.
So we'll know then.
Yeah, October 20th to 26th. But they show off a ton of cool powers. It has like a sci-fi aesthetic, kind of like Destiny's. But the characters' faces are nicer looking.
They look like human faces.
Yes.
Anime human faces.
Pretty much. Another third-person shooter that seems Destiny-like got announced. Quantum Knights. They showed off a gameplay trailer. This is a weird thing where it's like medieval setting, but with guns. It's another Korean studio, Space Dive Games.
What do you mean this medieval setting? What moment?
Yeah,
what?
I need to pull this up.
With machine guns and stuff.
Oh, okay. I'm like, Battlefield firearms first appeared in Europe in the 1300s, right? they just don't put them in D&D because it's hard to balance.
Yeah, it's had Uzis.
It's funny because it's like the Order 1886, but you take that element further back and make the guns even more sci-fi. It's basically what I'm looking like over here.
Yes.
I mean, full plate with sci-fi weapons is a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, this feels more Diablo-esque in certain ways. Like something about the amount of numbers flying out and how much demons you're fighting instead of like sci-fi creatures like you do in Destiny's.
Okay.
There's a keep on the Borderlands joke in here somewhere.
We also heard about Fear Effect Reinvented.
Ooh.
Oh, did we?
Yes. It's coming sooner than you think, is what they have the tagline is. It's made by Forever Entertainment and Megapixel Studio, which is, in fact, the people who did the Panzer Dragoon remake and the House of the Dead remake.
God damn it.
And that Front Mission remake, they're also doing that.
Oh, God, they're doing that.
Now, I need, like, whichever... Is this a fucking Embracer Group game? It feels like the sort of thing that would be an Embracer Group game.
I don't know. Probably, but I didn't see that on the list.
Nobody cares about Fear Effect anymore. The only reason they cared about it in 1997 or whatever is because it had anime titties and we have the internet now.
Mm-hmm.
And all these revival attempts seem to be ashamed of the anime titties. I'm like, guys, there's nothing else there.
Yeah, this at least, it's a cover shooter now.
Okay.
So that's kind of interesting.
It looks really bad, though.
It does, but so does the original Fear Effect. So I feel like you're not hurting the art style. It's just, it's more of that ugly thing.
It's just an ugly third-person shooter attached to an IP nobody played.
Yes.
Will this control as well as Kill Switch?
Probably not.
No, almost certainly not.
That's unfortunate.
I can tell just from looking at both games that it will not control as well as Kill Switch.
Yeah, for some reason, half the clips of this, they are afraid to put a aiming cursor on the screen. I don't know why.
That's weird. Actually, it doesn't have one.
It does in some clips.
It also looks very Borderlands-y visually.
I get
like
it.
It has that same sort of colors and shading.
Right. Yeah, the texture work, honestly, is what does it for me. Where it's just like, we drew lines on this flat, like, polygon to give the wall detail.
Yeah, that's their idea of an anime aesthetic in 3D, I guess.
I mean, it's kind of like how the PS1 looked, I guess.
And then there was that strategy game that nobody alive played.
Yeah, no one played that turn-based strategy game.
Fear Effect Sedna.
Yeah, I don't know why they keep making Fear Effect games. This is a franchise no one cares about.
Right? When Psy Girls is right there, just waiting for a new sequel.
I know.
Right?
That game would sell. If we keep saying it with sarcasm, international listeners can't tell. That's what I learned from the RRR spoiler cast comment section. Big Thing promised it would sell.
Yes. Put it back in theaters, Sony.
Fear Effect and Siphon Filter back in theaters.
Oh my!
I'm more interested in more Fear Effect than I am in more Siphon Filter. That's how low Siphon Filter is in my head.
My God.
It's like, it's so abysmal. There's nothing positive in my mind with Siphon Filter. At least Fear Effect has Anime Girl.
Hey, Siphon Filter has tasing a guy until he becomes on fire.
Yes.
And he makes the funniest sound until you stop tasing.
My last piece of news. Rift of the Necrodancer, which was announced like a week ago, was just the title card. Now they've shown gameplay. It is just Rhythm Heaven from Nintendo with the Necrodancer like character. And it's even in modern day, so a lot of stuff is very similar too.
I thought that was just random Rhythm Heaven fan animation.
I know, right?
Oh. I'm going to need to look up a trailer of this. Oh, and your last bit of news we already covered.
Yep.
Okay. We are going to go fast. Let's do opening night live first. I'm going to start shooting games. Feel free to start talking about the one you want.
Okay.
Killer Clowns for Outer Space, the game. What the fuck?
Holy shit. Who bought the rights to this and why?
What year is it right now?
Oh my God. I can't wait to buy it.
Dead Island 2 resurfaces as an Epic Game Store exclusive. Thanks, Bob.
So, Bob, I hear you're a time witch.
I'm sorry, everyone.
Why have you spoken this into being?
Episode 31 of Big Think Dimension. Bob says, it's going to be an Epic Game Store exclusive, and Embracer's just going to take the money, or THQ Nordic's just going to take the money.
Look, guys, I'm sorry. I don't know what I did, but I did this. I knew this would happen.
I also appreciate Chris being like, it's the funniest shit in the world of Tim Sweeney not knowing what a good game is.
Yes!
Going to the pet store and buying a dead cat. It really feels like that. Was Saints Row an Epic Game Store exclusive?
Yes, it's an Epic Game Store exclusive.
Oh my god. Looking at Dead Island 2 is astonishingly like Dead Island 1.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's like it dropped out of a time hole.
Yes.
Dedication. It's so good because they took so long with it. It almost might be refreshing after Dying Light 2.
Maybe.
Who knows?
I don't know if it was just the crossover advertising thing, but mechanically, it really did look similar to Goat Simulator.
Fair. The Lords of the Fallen.
I thought I was having a stroke.
Dude, I did that twice this week. You know, the other one was Atomic Heart. I'm like, that came out, right? I've been hearing that name for 6 years, and it's like, no, it got rebooted 4 years ago.
Oh, I only remember it from earlier this summer.
Right? I'm just like, what happened? Anyways, the Lords of the Fallen.
Fuck off.
I'm so glad people inform me that the means two. I wonder what language that means too.
God, unacceptable.
I love that Geoff Keighley had to come out and explain it, because otherwise all of us would have been in the dark. Like, how did they just get away with naming it the same thing again?
Yeah, I'm like, chat said it and I was skeptical. And then Geoff said it and I was like, God damn it. Seriously.
And this is a new team, so maybe it'll be okay.
So I remembered where my voyage into the first Lords of the Fallen ended.
Okay.
I got to the second boss, Commander. This is one of those games, so there's only like 7 bosses. He's a guy with a shield that you never get to hit, and sometimes he makes himself invincible and summons guys.
Great.
This game, by the way, controlled worse than any Souls game when you're at max weight.
Cool.
That's what I heard about it.
But the only reason I would be excited is if you make a Dark Souls game that just plays 70s boomer rock all the time, I am in. I'm invested.
That's when you're in.
Yes.
Metal Hell Swinger.
You know, I feel like it's been a long time since there's been a licensed song that wasn't on the in-game radio in a game.
Mm-hmm.
Like Returnal had "Don't Fear the Reaper" crowbarred in, and that sucked.
Yeah.
But like, and this is another thing where I'm gonna briefly punch the new Saints Row. Multiple reviews are like, this game has no music, and I'm like, but there was so many licensed songs during set pieces in Saints Row the Third that it got annoying.
Right.
Yeah.
Licensed music in a video game, not on a radio. Sackboy Adventures.
Okay.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Those were very good levels.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed that game, and I really like those levels, and I'm sad that I can't stream it at all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lies of P.
Where the fuck did this come from?
Piss liars.
they showed this off like a year ago or something.
A while ago, yeah.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh.
The trailer tricked me because it showed like set pieces and like him jumping. And then it's like, no, it's just, this is a real Souls game. But hopefully it still has some of those edges sanded off.
Yeah, watching the 10 minutes of gameplay
I know it
put
does.
out.
I know it does because I saw him get hit in those 10 minutes of gameplay and he lost 1/10 of his health, not 95% of it.
Yeah, it looks like, it's like, this is Bloodborne. I mean, it's a little more forgiving.
Yeah, it seems like it's got inspiration from a lot of the different Souls games. Like a lot of the weapons are the mechanical arm, which you can swap out, which is straight from Sekiro.
That, yeah. That grappling Bloodborne enemies to you is cool shit.
Yes, but giving you a grapple hook in a Dark Souls game is hilarious.
And I love the rebalance of giving you a block, and then you can, you'll still lose less health, but then you get your health back. And you get longer to get your health back than in Bloodborne.
Oh, I didn't notice that. I just saw that you can do a perfect time block and don't lose health. And I was like, thank you. Put the parry on something that isn't insanely bad. Those Dark Souls parries, man.
The Bloodborne parry was fine.
Yeah, Bloodborne parry was fine.
Yeah, because it was a core part of the combat design and not something you might not even be able to do depending on how you were rolling.
Yeah, that and Sekiro got it right. And then for some reason, they just won't put it in the other games.
Well, it would be too good then.
Yeah, that's true.
Everywhere. It was so obviously a metaverse thing. I'm like, these aesthetics and mechanics don't line up. Oh, shit. And they're like, please be excited for our blockchain metaverse.
I can't believe it's called Everywhere.
It's, yeah.
It doesn't matter what it's called. It's never coming out.
I know, right?
Callisto Protocol. That trailer was pretty good, and then made us go, how many chambers in the prison have a giant meat grinder spire in the middle?
Yes. All of them.
I was counting the number of bullets it took to kill something versus you can just pick them up all the time.
Right?
I assume
Why
you'll
are
have
you doing anything else?
I assume you have an incredibly limited resources for picking them up like that, but I don't know.
Right. Also, they had the water slide, which is like their version of the tentacle dragging Isaac down the hallway set piece.
I mean, that was a cool scine.
Yeah.
It was cool.
It put my balls in my stomach.
Yeah, that ending.
That ending. Jesus.
Age of Empires 4 adds Ottomans, and I can't...
Malians.
Malians?
From the Empire of Mali. West African, Mansa Musa, richest man in history.
Yes.
Okay.
Cool. That's free update. That's great.
Yeah, I'm glad this is a free update.
I actually noticed that somebody had that on sale for Steam for like $25. Like, okay, yeah, I'll buy it for $25.
Yeah, absolutely. But what if you got Game Pass?
No.
Okay, New Tales of the Borderlands. New Tales of the Borderlands.
Is New Tales of the Borderlands.
Yep, made by Gearbox. Has some of the writers from Telltale, apparently.
Actually looks nice. Like visually, that was surprising.
It looks nice and runs smoothly. It's very confusing to see Tales from than that.
Right.
Sonic Frontiers is dated for November 8th. I think this leaked slightly early. But yeah.
Yeah, there was like a Japanese trailer that went up and got taken down.
It got taken down, yeah. I'm very excited. This trailer, introduced Cyber Girl who tells Sonic, stop fucking everything up.
Sonic's immediately like, no.
Dun, 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 dun. And then he hit the big red button.
They also put Amy in the cage.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they did.
Gotta have that Sword Art Online Season 2 vibe.
Can you not?
It's a strong connection
Can
with
you
these
not?
fan bases.
No. Can you not? Jesus.
Do you think anyone's going to get
It's not my fault, Dan.
No, aggro. Sword Art fans connect to a different Sega fan base, Persona fans.
Oh man,
Persona 5 fans?
I would not have stabbed Persona fans like that.
I have a moral high ground after stabbing.
No,
5
I
seconds
think I can take any number of Sonic fans.
Oh, okay. Well,
there are too many Persona fans.
Moonbreaker. It was pretty cool. It was like Warhammer Core. You got to paint the miniatures.
That was the Brandon Sanderson one, right?
Thank you for remembering his name. I was like Andy Samberg, Sandy Bramberg.
Brandon Sanderson, who's like, here's my book. Do you want 80 pages on how magic works? And I'm like, yes, I do.
he is the Jesus Christ of people who like hard magic systems.
Cool. That actually looked really cool for this tabletop turn-based game. The mechanics they put in for painting the miniatures looked awesome. And I know nothing about this writer, but I'm interested in how you integrate him into a game that's going into early access that is this tabletop thing. Is it just going to be tons of character bios and things like that?
Right.
Yeah, I hope that there is actually a story mode that plays through that takes you through different tabletop battles, but who knows?
It's not just some League of Legends shit.
Right.
Like, give us 80 pages on 400 characters and then fuck off.
Okay, I'm going to say the name of a game, and I genuinely don't have a mental image for it. Atlas Fallen?
Yeah, that was the one with... it was like, the big backstory of, there used to be gods and they fucked off and now we have cool sand powers.
It looked like super janky Forspoken.
Yes, you have like
instead of only moderately janky like Forspoken.
Okay, there we go. I was like, the distinction being...
they were protecting a caravan in the desert and they slid down the sand dunes and then jumped up and hit them with big hammers.
Yeah, the whole thing was pretty God's Fall.
Okay, yeah. Godfall is a real vibe.
Yeah, they were fighting Godfall lions.
This apparently didn't Chris say that this was made by the people who did the original Lords of the Fallen?
Oh yeah.
Yes, I think that's the case.
Then we had Scars Above. It's like Stars Above, but scarred.
Looks
and
like
they have
Returnal.
the sci-fi outer space A, which I appreciate. Did you see the tweet that was going around? And it was like, game that is in outer space, and it's just normal font for A and then an up arrow, like just removing the bridge in the middle. I was like, that's really good. Why does this keep happening?
I'm trying to remember which one this was.
It looked like Returnal. Like,
okay, it was the one that was Returnal.
Yeah.
I remember there was a look, Returnal game.
yes.
Yeah, if you pull up any image of it, it's Returnal with the cast and a number of cutscenes.
Which is appreciated, honestly.
It's like, it's lower fidelity and not as impressive, but it has those, so it's clearly high budget in a completely different way.
Like, based on the timing, it feels like the first official trailer for Returnal came out and someone went, "We're making that."
That does tend to happen.
Uh-huh.
Have fun with Gears 5.
No! Phantom Hellcat?
This
That
was
is like a vaguely cartoony looking action game. We and Bob were like, this looks like a low rent action game. We're morally obligated to buy it.
yes.
There was a lot of neon.
It had the woman who had like a cassette Walkman and 2 white masks hanging off her belt.
Yes, and she had like half a mask on her face, I think.
Yeah, her face was half a mask.
Yeah.
It was a weird mix of like 3D side scrolling and then full
2D
3D combat.
platformer, and I was like, oh, hey, look at this. It's like, oh man.
Oh god, it's
playing-
like El Shaddai, which you have to play.
Yes.
I think that they even said that they were inspired by Nier Automata.
Right. But really,
it's El Shaddai.
El Shaddai. You thought you were inspired by Nier Automata, but it was me, El Shaddai. I just figured I'd throw up a picture of her face. There's a picture of her face.
I can't remember. Was it Scandinavian or something? It's based on some culture we don't see that much of. They're like monsters.
Oh yeah, so somebody had mentioned it. Don't remember.
We'll move on. Where Winds Meet? Chinese open world action game?
Yep.
That's where they ran on the water and ran up the mast of the ship, and it looked like very Crouching Tiger-esque.
Looked real Ghost of Tsushima. In
Yeah.
its presentation and mechanics.
It looked like a super janky version of it in a lot of ways, but yes.
It's another one of those Chinese super games that like, oh, look at that. Maybe that's going to be real.
They ended the trailer with the dude standing on the ground pointing a sword upward at a giant fucking 3 or 4 face statue.
Oh yeah, there's another guy on that statue.
There's a tiny dude on that statue with, what was it, a jaguar with him?
Yeah,
or a
it was
leopard?
pretty fucking good.
Yeah,
I was like, oh man, remember cool shit? Cool shit's cool. I like it when cool shit shows up in video games.
I'm like, is it cooler if you fight that statue or that guy?
You can do one then the other.
Ooh.
Let's see, what's next? Okay, there we go. Oh god, the Kojima podcast Brain Structure.
I think it's a Spotify exclusive.
It is a Spotify exclusive, so we don't have to worry.
Jeff Keighley has a segment. I assume he will use that segment to announce their wedding.
We got the Pokemon Mini concept car.
I literally intentionally dozed off during this segment.
It's so weird.
We will keep moving quickly. Dune Awakening open world survival MMO.
Whatever.
Yeah, there's like we showed the Doom trailer, and all of us are like, "What could it be? What could it be?" And then they put up the text for that, and it's like, "Oh, who cares?"
Right.
It's like open world survival. I'm sorry, you've already lost me. Adding MMO makes it even worse.
Like pull both of the triggers arrhythmically to not attract the worm.
Then we got our trailer for was it Return?
Yeah,
Return to Monkey Island with the horse armor pre-order bonus, where it literally does
It's really
nothing.
funny.
Yeah.
Yes, thank God.
That's pretty good.
We need to punch Bethesda forever for that. I'm sorry.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And now for the worst thing of the show.
Oh, gee, Rick. Oh, I don't know, Rick. Oh, this game, I'm going to be constantly talking for 40 hours. Oh, it's like Borderlands 4 featuring Justin Roiland. Oh, jeez.
She's entering the next stage. You're gonna need to jump. She's doing waves. Jump and grapple hook over the waves. Good. Yes, you're doing it. Yeah, that was
I know I'm going to have to sit through this for the next year.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not saying it's good. It's not that bad.
Just to be clear, I have not watched Rick and Morty, and yet, just from the amount of Rick and Morty I've gotten via osmosis, and what was the name of the YouTube sketch comedian who took off in the last year, does the animation things? Joel Haver. Just the Joel Haver video he was in was enough for me to be like, I'm full. Yeah, please, no more. Because that whole video is him as a droid asking to be killed for the entire thing in that exact voice.
God. I watched 5 minutes of the first one of those that the algorithm spit out and decided, no, thank you.
I want to play this game to get to Mike Stacklasa and other guy.
Rich Evans.
Rich Evans.
It's on Game Pass. I'd be stupid not to play it.
Exactly.
Right? You can't afford not to play it. You're leaving video game on the table.
Did anyone else try and watch the 25 minutes of uncut gameplay they released of this?
No.
It
I
ended
watched
in that
the
boss
opening
fight,
and
so
I
I watched
tapped.
up to the boss fight again.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, it doesn't bother me as much. Game looks a little janky.
Yeah,
that makes sense. It seems like it's an instrument to deliver that, like the writing.
It is a vessel. It's like it is the Ritz cracker.
Yeah, it is more of a game that they want to show you all of these kooky characters and listen to all the dialogue, and it's the shooter is the vehicle for that.
And it makes sense. Apparently, this was started under funding and stuff from Stadia. So it being like famous YouTubers are guns is like, oh, I didn't think about it that way. But yeah, I don't know. I really want to play it just to get to them, but I'm not sure I could finish the fight. So I'm scared to offer it as a stream goal. Because tapping out's kind of healthy.
I will say, every time he has to cock that talking gun, it makes my dick hurt. It's just not a great animation. I hate looking at it.
That seems intentional.
That is totally fair. And now we're moving on to the Future Game Showcase, which snuck... The Future Game Show really snuck up on us.
I saw Bob posted in the Discord. I'm like, the fuck is this? Why is he posting a show from last June?
That's fair.
That is fair.
I don't know.
I just listed the things that I thought were interesting as I watched that show.
Okay, the only thing I wanted to talk about was the last thing I entered. So if you want to take this segment, let's go.
They showed, it is called Hypercharge Unboxed. It seems to be a wave-based shooter where you're an action figure, but it has licenses for toys, but they're none of the characters you control. It's just like toys that you're fighting or that are in like the environment. It looks neat. In the trailer, somebody jetpacks up to a plane that's flying and sets a bomb on it, and then jumps off and jetpacks down. So that's cool.
Yeah.
But fuck that. We have Snackoon.
Yes.
A game where you are a raccoon in a city where snacks have been outlawed, and you need to find snacks.
It's really good. Just
it looks like a
sneaking through the air duct and then crashing into this cafe.
It looks really like a fusion of Stray and Goose Game.
Yes.
100%.
It's hilarious to even see like the jumping prompts and things that you saw in Stray.
Yes.
And then you just screw up and fall on stuff.
That's really good. It's really good.
And then a game that was so weird. This had a trailer a month ago. It was the standard cinematic fantasy trailer. You know, guy in armor, some dark cliffs. You know it. Then they showed a gameplay trailer, and Tainted Grail: The Fall of Avalon is a game that looks like a Skyrim mod. That's not a joke. That's not hyperbole. It's not me exaggerating.
Yeah, Dan was
yeah,
watching
It's
it.
a
Just be like,
Skyrim mod.
this is just oblivious.
Yeah, I watched this and I didn't remember the name. I had to go look it up to remember the name. I'm like, this is just aimed laser focused at the Skyrim market. You do not show an NPC talking from that distance in that incredibly stiff way without it being like, you're okay with this, right? There's so much about it that is that. I think it's kind of great. I think it's great that it is.
It is. It immediately stole my heart.
It also has really cool visuals, like the astral planes they go through, or whatever. That shit's really cool. And then you go back to your Skyrim looking areas where it's just like, oh, it's desaturated and everything sucks because it's nighttime.
The Chant, it's like a survival horror game where you have magic. It looks better than a lot of survival horror games because it seems to have combat that they're putting effort into. Because she's like, it's like, oh, I'm walking through the fucking curse area and I have like magic and I'm fighting monsters and I'm throwing up like spikes from the ground and throwing out like bolts.
Oh, jeez, Rick. Oh, this is terrible.
And she gets hurt and the screen gets all desaturated. It has a really terrible looking UI though.
I don't remember this at
all. Wizardry, The Five Ordeals, an ancient dungeon crawling RPG from 2006 that never came out over here, is finally coming out over here. They like up-resed all the assets and everything too.
They tricked me. I had no idea this was a 2006 game that didn't come out over here. I'm like, oh shit, a new Wizardry.
Right.
It's one of those Japanese wizardries where the market split, and it's like the Western side made games for people who are masochists, and the Japanese side made games for people who actually want to die. After Image, it's a Metroidvania about an anime girl, and it's very floaty looking and looks almost exactly like Dustin Elysian Tale in terms of the physics.
I forget. Did this one just start as Kickstarter?
I don't know. It wasn't in the show.
Okay, all right. There's another game that looked
fairly done.
Okay, no, it's a different one. There was a different
You're
game.
Thinking about the one where the walk cycle is sadly deficient in frames?
No, there's the third one that looks very much like Dustin Elysian Tale.
Okay.
Man.
This isn't a game, but they had the devs introduce their games multiple times, and all of them uniformly sounded like they were in a fucking wind tunnel. I don't know what was happening.
While watching this, I was like, Bob, this game is being developed by a sentient box, because that's what this person's mic sounded like. And during him presenting this, they do a cut on words he said, but since it's so rough sounding, I'm like, it's not even sinking in time because my brain's having to parse out the sound. Yeah, it was a little rough. I wish more people had access to people with a good lav mic. I wish that was a service I could provide, but there is literally no one doing anything important in Iceville.
Next game was Tesla Grad 2. It is a sequel to a game that I never heard of before, from I think 8 years ago. I think it's from, or 9. It was from 2013 or 2014.
I didn't even catch the 2.
It's a Metroidvania. You have electrical powers. There doesn't seem to be a lot of combat. It mostly seems to be about using these electrical powers. So like you travel along power lines, you can throw things super far using like rail cannon type stuff. You can teleport short distances. There's like a really neat looking part where you're like teleporting onto a slope and doing like a really big grind along like a half circle and shooting up.
Now, this is the one that has the walk cycle with not enough ramps.
Okay.
Yes.
Because the main character has 2 different outfits, so they have to do 2 different sets of art.
It is so funny because sometimes it goes like very well animated.
Oh,
with
yeah.
her.
Yeah,
and then she
like,
walks and it's like that. What happened?
She'll engage with the thing in the background, and they'll give her 10 million frames turning, and then
I went and looked at Tesla Grad, and it based on how the first one looked, it seems like a Braid clone. Like that was the intent. Like we saw Braid.
Oh.
But it looks a lot more high rent than Braid, even the old one. I mean, like it looked like, this has many more ideas than Braid had, but more than one. The last game I wrote down, Stray Blade, which is like it comes off like a knockoff of Kingdoms of Amalur. Where it's like, you're a Welsh guy and you're doing action combat that doesn't seem so good, and you have a talking cat in it, and it looks very much like Warcraft.
Yeah, we actually put that talking cat on one of our Big Thing Dimension thumbnails.
Yeah. That was the Big Thing Dimension thumbnail a few weeks back. Let me see if I can find it quickly. Because, I had to edit that weird scrimblow out in order to put it in that fucking image. I was like, oh god, that did happen.
So it looks like yet another low-rent jank computer RPG that I'll have to buy for $15 on Steam to play. It can stand along Two Worlds 2.
Ooh.
And Venetica.
That. I was like, I don't know if I've heard of this one.
And let's see, what's the other one that I always think of?
Alec?
No, not Alec. I haven't played Alec. Draken sang The River of Time.
Oh god, those every one of those Draken whatever games are so bad.
Draken sang The River of Time, which is the second one, has a really great opening area and then like a really great set piece at the end of it, and then the game immediately runs out of money and you're going through like boring ass tombs.
That makes perfect sense.
Nope, can't find it.
That's all the games that I wrote down.
Off the Grid, the Neil Blomkamp game that See, here's the thing. Because Aggro had a conversation with me after I said something on Big Think in the past about Neil Blomkamp. I've been safe. I didn't have to have an opinion on anything that person made. People were like, I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was fucking stupid. And I'm like, well, I'm going to avoid it. If those are the two responses elicited from people, I'll be good. And now we have this game. So this was announced earlier this year. That's when I talked about it on a Big Thing. This is the first we got to see it. Is a CG trailer of people in a vehicle pulling up and people standing out in the road, and then they shoot and they do a shooty fight, and then there's a cool flip and there's some cool tripwires to cause a bomb, but that's okay because the guy does a flip over and shoots him in midair, and then there's an explosion and it says part 1. And I go, fuck! I literally have nothing to take away from this.
It's okay, Dan. We're safe for playing it. It's just another battle royale, no matter how much sugar I want to put on it.
Could you imagine that's what all of this is leading up to?
They said that.
They announced that?
They announced that.
That was supposed to be
This is a battle royale with a story.
5 or 6 people having a shootout.
Uh-huh.
Is their way of promoting and building up to the release of a battle royale game.
Yeah, they're insane. It's run by some guy who's never made a video game in his life and has no idea what they should even be.
Okay.
I didn't know that Neil Blomkamp's movies lost on average 25% in the tomato score for each one, to the most recent one having a 15%.
Jesus, is that Kathy, or is there a newer one?
You said that. I was like,
a newer one.
You can't do that many times. You'll end up like 10.
It's a newer one called Demonic.
Yes.
Don't remember that at all.
Okay, well, it's a battle royale. Obviously, I don't have to play it.
Right?
We're
good. Safe.
I'm fine. Feel free. Go ahead, Neil. That no problems here. This industry loves Neils with their head up their ass. But that's it. All the news.
Oh my god, we did it.
My god, we survived. We survived the surprise double show. We were prepared for 1.
Yeah.
2? Didn't see that coming.
It's a lot easier when you watch it after the fact. I'm like, this game doesn't look bad. 5 seconds. I mean, this game looks bad. 5 seconds, 5 seconds, 5 seconds, 5 seconds. Oh, it's gone now.
What happened?
To be fair, the opening night live was a lot better put together as a show than Future Games show.
Future Games show is...
Yeah, the Future Games show had Kratos' actor.
Yeah.
And they had him say boy a lot. And that was that was all they had.
And then they had references to the fact that they made him say boy, and that was its own joke.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was rough. But that's it. A big thing to mention this week. We're going to go to Aggro. Aggro, what do you have going on the next week?
I'm gonna probably watch Future Game Show again and see if any of it will stick this time.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Great. You know, I got that Uncharted movie on Blu-ray. I think I might do that too. See if any of it sticks this time.
No.
Hey guys, if a Redbox goes, it's $2 to rent it, $5 to own. Just don't.
Yeah, no, it's a trap, obviously.
Chris Wolfhard. Sorry. Chris Wolfhard. This is the radio DJ voice every time. I'm like, what a cool fucking name. Anyways.
Which Tekken game are you from again?
Get ready for the next battle.
What do you got going on in the next week?
I don't know. I'm going to stream something I haven't decided yet. I finished Final Fantasy, and I never plan more than one game ahead at a time.
You know, that's not a bad system. As I sit here at Gears,
you
5.
don't get bogged down in a schedule. It's like, I don't want to play this though. It's like, you scheduled it. Do it.
Fucking Lancer to the legs. As Chris
Once you finish all of
removed.
the Gears eggs, you have to eat all of the Armored Core eggs, Dan.
At least the Armored Core eggs will consistently wife into my ass.
Yes.
You don't know that, Dan.
Hey, I think I'm pretty safe until we get to the PS3. Then I truly have no idea.
It's okay. Armored Core games don't have a story, basically. You get emails about who to kill, and you do it.
But then you get an ending, and it's like, wow, this was a cool ending. And then the next game goes, we either will or will not follow up on that.
You have to make. I mean, it's a From game. You got to make sure to read all the item descriptions because
That's true.
maybe your wife dies in the backstory for a missile pod or something.
or like the moonlight saber or whatever.
This sword is your wife.
Oh my god. Somebody else should take this brilliant narrative concept and do something with it. In the next week, Bob and I are playing Gears 5 and Vanquish. And if we're feeling extra froggy at the end of Gears 5, we may play an hour or two of Gears Tactics. There is no way we are beating that. That game is huge. Aside from that, there is a stream goal currently going to squeeze one last game into August, Army of Two. One. If it fit in a month, this would be it. This month, by the way, also could have been called Bro-October.
Yes.
I feel like you could really easily make a 6 to 8 game month of games in 7th gen that are exactly Gears of War, but are not Gears of War.
100%. The question is, would it be lethal?
Right.
You've lived through worse.
I'm just really glad 7th Gen Wonderland won and not, yep, it's a 7th Gen shooter, even though it would have been really funny to go through some of those because they are no shit 4 hours long.
Yeah, that would have been hype in its own way of like, we sure did blitz through this entire month in a weekend.
Yeah. See, the funny thing is, though, you're still going to have to confront all of those games eventually anyway.
We're just doomed.
There's no timeline where you don't have to confront Ride to Hell or Matt Hazard or Duke Nukem Forever.
Yeah, we can't escape them.
That's true. That's very true. At least we escaped it for now. That's something, right? I can appreciate that, right? Guys?
Now play all of Haze.
Summoning raptors.
God. Anyways, that's going to do it for this week on Big Think Dimension. Thank you, everyone who showed up and hosted. We'll see you guys next time.
Yes, it will be next time.
Oh, thank God. I thought we were canceled. HBO came for us.
Oh, I thought you meant the other kind of canceled.
The CEO of HBO canceled us. Thank you very much for listening to this episode of Big Think Dimension. Big Think Dimension is only possible because of your support over on patreon.com/GB Podcast, where you can get access to all sorts of content like Cursed Content Committee, where you get to vote on what terrible movie we watch, and also Isolation 119. This This month's GigaBoots videos were brought to you by the continued support of our executive producers, such as Esme, E. Lee Broyles, Star Falcon, Spaceman Spiff, Red Blaze 27, Brendan O'Sullivan, Burning Pepsi Man, Adam Admar, Cooper Tank, and Virmvarm. Thank you very much to our executive producers, and also these gamers. If you want to support GigaBoots so we can continue the content crunch, then head on over to patreon.com/GigaBoots today.